you checked your home title. Scammers are targeting your equity with just a single forged document they file at the county. So don't wait until it's too late. Find out if you are already a victim today. Please go to HomeTitleLock.com and use promo code BILL to get a free title history report, plus a free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. On this Friday, for the first time ever, the 4 broadcast networks have fallen below the 20% viewing level. That means that 80% of Americans are no longer watching shows on the networks. The folks now look at streaming. Where have you gone, Mary Tyler Moore and Johnny Carson? Our nation turns its lonely eyes to you, with apologies to Paul Simon. It's not hard to figure out why this is happening. The networks have turned away from quality programming because those shows are too expensive. Instead, they offer Survivor 86, Big Brother 45, and retreads of The Price is Right. Even people in solitary confinement won't watch. Add to that the far left tilt of Stephen Colbert, The View, as well as NBC in general, and you have these companies giving a giant middle finger to traditional Americans on a daily basis. The national news programs don't provide much either. I believe ABC anchorman David Muir wears the same outfit every night. Peter Jennings, who I work for, used to buy custom suits on Savile Row. Apparently, old Dave gets his threads on Skid Row. The point here is that television has become, well, turgid. The Nets don't want to pay for big talent or produce big budget dramas. So it's over. If the Mouseketeers ever come back, their new slogan might be, why? Because we don't like you. Back in a moment. President Trump signed a new executive order to lower prices on prescription drugs, as you know. But change takes time. So All Family Pharmacy is offering 20% off all meds now through June 30th. A great deal. No insurance needed, plus prescriptions and delivery are included. Just choose from more than 200 medications like ivermectin and more. Please visit allfamilypharmacy.com/bill. Use the code BILL20 for 20% off today. allfamilypharmacy.com/bill, code BILL20. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
It's a relatively quiet morning with some clouds and early fog, but once again this afternoon, scattered rain and thunderstorms in the forecast, a muggy high of 87. Some are going to miss the rain altogether, but others will deal with some downpours and some gusty winds. Spotty rain and storms overnight, too, down to 75. Heat really builds this weekend. 92 Saturday, 95 Sunday. The heat index between 100 and 105, and still some spotty rain and storms around. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
Having your first cup of coffee? Mike's on his third. This is Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
You know, it seems like we're always just one election away from not being able to protect our Second Amendment rights, and we're kind of in the middle between two election cycles right now. That's not stopping some lawmakers from trying to protect our Second Amendment rights and others scheming to take them away. Where do we go from here? Well, 6:35, we've got a new voice on News Talk STL to talk about that. Aaron Tarlow, the new host of Shall Not Be Infringed. He's going to be with us and update us on what's happening with the show, but also, more importantly, on the effort to retain and protect and even grow those Second Amendment rights. Good morning. Happy Flashback Friday. Mike Ferguson here. Really looking forward to seeing what y'all requested for the 80s bump music. And let's have a little bit of fun later on, right around 7:05. Former state representative Tony Lovasco, about as libertarian as you get from the current and former elected officials. We're going to review the week's news, and yeah, it's been a wild week. All right, we had, speaking of new voices on News Talk STL, the host of another new show on the program, Stephen Moore, President Trump's economic advisor, is joining the News Talk STL lineup. And he gave us his rundown of how he sees things with the economy right now and what we can look forward to on More Money with Stephen Moore, which starts on Sunday. Starting this weekend, you're going to access a look at the economy and policy, and most importantly, what it means for you and your family from possibly the best source you can get. And I'm talking about Stephen Moore, personal advisor, to President Trump, both in official and unofficial capacities over the years. And he joins us right now. And Stephen, let me be the first to say welcome to News Talk STL, because we're picking up your show starting this week.
Good morning, guys. Boy, that was a nice introduction. And, I've been an economic advisor to Trump for now, informally for about 9 years. But I got to tell you, the guy doesn't really need a lot of help on the economy. He knows exactly what he's doing. And look, I'm super bullish right now on the economy now that we've got the big, beautiful bill passed. So I'm feeling really good about America right now. I don't know about you guys.
Let me ask you about obviously what happened early this morning regarding the rescissions package. Republicans barely scraped up enough votes to avoid the Trump administration having to drop the Vance on them again to get this passed. But the 51-48. We're not even talking about a huge amount of money of the deficit spending. So when we talk about this little tiny chip that was that hard to get, are we in any position to hope that we can get the out of control spending under control?
I've been trying to do that for 40 years. I arrived in Washington in 1984. So it's been a long time and a long, brutal battle. By the way, when I first got started on this stuff, we were at $1 trillion budget. Now we have a $7 trillion budget. And when I got started, we had $1 trillion debt. Now we have a $37 trillion debt. So, these numbers keep getting more and more dire. But this was a big victory for just common sense. I mean, look, I don't care what people think about Sesame Street. I love Elmo. I love Cookie Monster. I just don't understand why it needs to be funded by the taxpayer. And so we are basically saying to the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and NPR, go, get your own money. You don't have to get it from the taxpayers. If it's so vital, people will contribute. There's hundreds and hundreds, and as you guys know, there's hundreds of radio stations, and there's hundreds of TV stations now. Why do we need to have the taxpayers subsidize one of them? So I think that's a big victory for common sense. And then we're getting rid of a lot of the crazy foreign aid programs that have done nothing to lift people out of poverty. The only way to lift people out of poverty is through free market capitalism, not through government intervention. So I think this is a good, nice start. It's the first time in a long time I've seen the government actually get rid of some programs.
Good morning, Stephen. Gabe, Phifer here. So what do you make of our current inflation situation? I know that we're still a little bit, I think, off target according to the Fed, and but Trump keeps calling for them to cut rates. So where should we be? Where are we now? And where do you think we're going with all this?
Yeah, and is demanding a 3% cut when they're usually talking about a quarter of a is a 3% maybe a tad aggressive?
Right, that's vintage Donald Trump, right? Think big. Well, listen, it's first of all, I think that Jerome Powell has to go. Trump is right about that. He has been an overtly political and incompetent Fed chairman. And, he was the one who allowed the inflation rate to go up the highest level since the 1970s. And for that alone, he should be fired. Remember when we had 9.2% inflation under Biden? Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
And so that did severe damage to American families, and it was inexcusable. And so the amazing thing is that he was cutting interest rates back then when the economy was in a free fall and inflation was out of control. And now we've got fairly low inflation, and he won't lower rates, and that's because he hates Trump. But do you think it was just a coincidence, by the way, that 6 weeks before the election, he did a major rate cut? Do you think he might have been trying to put his thumb on the scale to help Kamala there a little bit? So this is a guy who has got to go. In terms of whether we should be cutting rates now, I'm kind of on the fence on that one. I'm not. It was certainly not a 2 or 3 percentage point reduction, maybe a quarter point. But as I look at the numbers, I was looking at them this morning. We're still in the 2.5% to 3% inflation rate. Now that's a huge, much better than we had under Biden, of course, when inflation went up to 9%. But it's still a little higher than we want. And I do worry if we lower rates, you're flushing more money into the economy. And as Milton Friedman taught us, inflation is too many dollars chasing too few goods. So I want to be more attentive to getting that inflation rate down to the 2% target. And we still have a little bit of ways to go. And I worry that another series of rate cuts might send prices higher again.
Okay, so people are debating whether or not the implementation of the tariffs that have been put into place are having an effect. Of course, a lot of those were delayed, and we're being, the president now says, I'm going to add a bunch more on this. Mm-hmm. He has actually said he knows this will cause, I think the words he used were a sting or discomfort or disruption. So he's acknowledging this could affect prices. How much effect could those tariffs, should they go into place as promised, how much could those affect inflation in the coming months?
Well, it depends a lot on what happens with the tariffs. I mean, the whole history of the last 6 months, the first 6 months that Trump has been president, is every time he talks about tariffs, what happens to the stock market? It goes down. And what happens to the economy? It goes down. Every time he reaches a trade deal, what happens to the stock market and consumer and business confidence? It goes up. And so, it kind of depends. The answer to your question is whether Trump is able to get these trade deals. You guys have known me a long time. I'm not a tariff guy. Tariffs are taxes. I believe in free and fair trade, and the lower the tariffs, the better. Now, in some cases, by the way, Trump has actually forced other countries to reduce their tariffs on American products, and that's a good thing. I'm all for that. But look, let me keep it very simple. If you put a tariff on something, some of the cost of that tariff is going to be borne by the consumer, right? I mean, it's just mathematics. And so, I do think that the tariffs have contributed a little bit to inflation. But if the end goal is to get other countries to reduce their tariffs, then I think there's some logic to that.
So going back to the spending cuts, because I think those are a really big bugaboo for me. Right, and I kind of broke it down for our listeners not too long ago about. Yeah, by the way, just sorry to interrupt you, but
sure. Just to put this in perspective, we have a $7 trillion budget, and this rescission cut $9 billion out of $7 trillion.
Yeah,
so that's like what 2% of the budget. So, and it speaks loudly that it was such a heavy lift to just get a tiny little sliver out of the budget.
That's exactly what I was getting at, because I took a few zeros off of the number so people could understand. It's like if you're running like an $18,000 a year deficit in your personal budget, and you're saying, well, I want to cut $90 off of that, it doesn't make a difference. So what are the chances that we're going to get any real significant cuts actually coming out of any administration in the near future? And how are we going to avoid the fiscal cliff that'll I think a lot of other economists are worried about in terms of government spending?
So that's a great question. I mean, look, everybody's worried about our national debt and our runaway government, and it is a train wreck. But I'm focused on economic growth. What I tell these Republicans, because I talk to Republicans in the House and the Senate, and I do talk to the administration folks a lot. And what I tell them is the goal should be to get the economic growth rate up to 3%. And by the way, if you just looked at the last couple of months, the revenues are starting to surge, partly because we're getting tariff revenues in, but also because wages and salaries are up. And what do you think happens to tax revenues when wages and salaries go up? They go up too, right? So my point is the best way to bring down the debt is to grow the economy. In fact, it's the only way. Now, of course, I want to take a chainsaw out of some of these government programs, but if you don't have economic growth, you're not going to bring the debt down. And you get 3% growth, 3.5% growth, which we can do, especially given Trump's agenda, you start to bend that curve down because you start getting more, businesses are healthy, they pay more taxes. If businesses are started, they pay more taxes. If workers are re-entering the workforce, they're going to pay taxes. So the best way to get the budget deficit down is to get the economy booming, and Trump gets that.
All right. Starting on Sunday, we're going to air your show twice, 7 a.m. and 10 p.m.
You are?
Twice.
Oh, my God. I'm so excited. You know what? You guys just made my day. So this is the More Money Show.
Yep.
And I've been doing that show on WABC in New York for about 2 years. I love what you guys do. And I was so envious that you got to sit in front of the microphone. I told my friend John Katzimatidis, who runs WABC, I want a show. And so now we're going to be on about 25 major stations, including yours, and very exciting. And I don't know when they're going to air that on your station, but it's called the More Money Show.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to have you guys on. You got to
Yes.
come on my show one of these days.
I would love it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Sunday, the first airing is going to be 7 a.m. Sunday, and then also 10
so
p.m. as
excited.
well. Yes. So Stephen Moore, More Money Show starting this weekend. Do you have a show website, social media, anything like that, Steve?
You know what? I have to do that. And you know what? Next time I'm on your show, I'll get you all that information. But boy, you guys made my day. I'm so excited because this is one of the most important stations in the country. And it's really cool. And we have great guests. We have Tarlow come on, and we have Art Laffer come on, and we have, Scott Besson and all the major players. And so very excited about that. And I learned the trade from you guys.
All right, 314-912-1019. That's how to be involved with any of the discussions. Don't forget, 6:35, Aaron Tarlow, the new host of Shall Not Be Infringed, is going to be with us right here on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Information I need on the drive to work.
Mike Ferguson in the morning. I keep it on throughout the day, whether it's local, national, or something big that's happening overseas.
News, analysis, and opinion.
St. Louis is #1 for conservative talk.
News Talk STL.
Hey, folks, Jamie Allman here for Newstedter's Fine Jewelry right there at Doherty Ferry and Big Bend. WowDiamonds.com. It's Wow Diamonds for a reason. These are beautiful lab-grown diamonds. They are gorgeous. They will blind you when you walk in and see them, but that's a good thing. Great engagement sets, wedding sets, all these beautiful God-created gems, sapphires, rubies, you name it, garnets, and also all the gold you need, and the famous bull of a watch, WowDiamonds.com.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss of Safe Money Radio as part of our lineup each week. Doug has been a staple on the St. Louis radio airways for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. You can now hear Doug and Safe Money Radio 2 times every weekend on News Talk STL. But in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeMoneyRadio.com. You could also reach Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233.
Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP, member FINRA and SIPC.
Hey, Tony Colombo here with Tim Jones for our friends Rodney and Jen Wallner, the Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway, the #1 home selling team in the St. Louis area. And I can say that from firsthand experience. My wife and I were blown away from the results that we saw from working with Rodney and Jen, from selling our old home faster and for more money than we thought possible to finding our family's perfect new home. They over-delivered every step of the way. And right now, it's still very much a seller's market. So, Tim, for folks that have been thinking about selling their home, it's a perfect time to call the Wallners.
That's right, Tony. And don't forget, they're licensed in both Missouri and Illinois. So no matter where you are in the metro area, you can put St. Louis's #1 home selling team to work for you. The Wallners' experience and work ethic, second to none. And of course, the numbers speak for themselves. The Wallners sell 15 times more homes per year than the typical realtor. Right now, they're working with so many qualified buyers, they'll guarantee to obtain you an offer. If you've been thinking about selling your home, don't wait. Call the Wallners now at 314-810-SOLD. That's 314-810-SOLD for the Wallner home selling team.
Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
All right. When both sides seem to be hiding something, it's probably bigger than what we realize.
Yeah, it's probably not good.
No. And okay, so I'm not going to harp on and on and on and on and on about the Epstein thing, but I got some thoughts based on what we're seeing develop, because I think what we're seeing is the public, and I'm not talking the Republican public or the Democratic public. I think overall, enough people, even those who aren't particularly political, are saying, what do you mean? What do you mean move on? What do you mean? No. Hold on here. And so I think that part needs to be addressed, but also I think we need to call out some on our own side just to be intellectually honest and consistent. Because I'm seeing I'm seeing a pattern. And I'm seeing a pattern among the national conservative media. It's not overwhelming, it's not unanimous, but I'm starting to see a pattern. And I think one of the things that we're seeing is conservative media doing exactly what we've complained about the leftist media doing for years.
Yeah.
And if nobody calls it out, then we don't have any room to bitch about the other side.
Then we're basically complicit in it.
Right.
And then I want to be complicit with what's going on right now.
Yeah. Okay. So here's what's going on is, and again, I'm not a big fan of surveys and polls and all this kind of stuff. I don't think they're particularly accurate scientifically for a variety of reasons. I think some of them are biased. Many of them are biased for a lot of different reasons. But if there's at least an attempt to do them right, they can give you the neighborhood of what's happening. And there's a number of polls and surveys out there. And what's interesting is you're seeing across the board very similar results. Now, again, I think the science of polling and surveys is lacking right now. I don't think they've kept up with technology and how we communicate and all of these sorts of things. I think, so I think it's one of the reasons they're out of date. But I think it is interesting that most Americans, regardless of the survey, say they want the answers and they want to see what's in the Epstein files. And I don't even know that everybody who says that is going to be really interested in digging in and reading him. I think it's a matter of we just want to know that the government who has this information is willing to be honest with us.
Yes.
I think that's a big part of what's happening. And so it's just weird how many major conservative media outlets have either gone silent on this or are in the process of going silent on this. And I'm seeing a pattern on this. You mentioned yesterday that one of the biggest, conservative, I guess. I'm not a Charlie Kirk fan at all.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's kind of a grifter, and I think he's more about the clicks than he is about anything else. But he's a voice, and he's a big one. He's got a big audience, and he openly said, "I'm going to shut up about this because the White House told me to."
So what's being reported on is that he got a call from the administration, and then during the clip, I now to be fair, to update this, what I told you, he has since, I guess, backtracked on it, but live on his podcast show, whatever he does, said, "You know what? I'm not going to be talking about this anymore. I'm going to trust my friends in the administration," which is a weird way of saying
that's a very
my
weird
friends.
way of saying,
and that I'm not really interested in talking about it going forward, and that's that. And then he got such backlash that like the next episode he put out, he was like saying, "Okay, never mind. I'm going back to talking about it."
Right, exactly. There are others who have said, "No, you're not going to tell me to shut up." Matt Walsh, for instance.
Oh,
he is like, "No, you want me to keep talking about something? Tell me to shut up about it." I'm looking at a Newsmax, and Newsmax has stayed on this.
Yes.
So I want to give credit where credit's due. But when you look at this, for instance, a Reuters poll that came out, Ipsos poll, showed 69% of Americans felt that the federal government is hiding details about Epstein's clients. You know how many Americans who responded to that poll said, "No, the government's being upfront and honest"? 6%. Now, again, those numbers are probably not fully accurate, but 70%, almost 70% to 6%, massive swing here. And what's interesting is that close to 2/3 of Republicans think the administration is hiding details on Epstein's business, according to the same poll. But here's one of the interesting things in this article. Once again, this is on Newsmax. This is a conservative site. Let me just read it. It says, behind the scenes, Trump and senior aides have also reached out to key MAGA-aligned influencers, urging them to dial down their criticism of the administration's handling of the Epstein investigation and shift focus to broader priorities for the America First movement. Okay, in other words, we may not be telling you the truth, but we have other things to do. Stop criticizing us.
Yeah.
Stop questioning us. Okay. Congressman Eric Burleson was on News Nation, and was asked about this. Here is what he had to say.
Yeah, I love President Trump. I think he's done an amazing job. Honestly, with all the wins that we've achieved over these last few months, I think they're unprecedented and historic. I think that he's on pace to being on Mount Rushmore. This is not a good moment. And I think that, so I'm open. If the president has information that we do not have, I want to hear it. But I think that the American people right now, they expected these files to be released. And I think, look, we've got how many victims, right? Hundreds of young girls were victimized. And I think the American people and these victims deserve to have some kind of clarity.
And I think first of all, I think Eric just nailed it.
Absolutely.
Right there. Absolutely. On this. So here's the thing. Think back during the Biden years.
Mm-hmm.
Think back during the first Trump administration. Think back during the Clinton years, the Obama years. Why did we hate the mainstream media so much? We probably didn't hate them enough.
We never hate them enough.
But why? Why? Because we knew they weren't telling us the truth, and we knew they were trying to drive the narrative instead of reporting. Why would we want our side to do the exact same thing? Okay, so here's the thing, and I'll expand on this later in the show. I don't want media that does what any politician or political party tells it to do. I don't want media running cover.
That's propaganda.
That's propaganda. If a politician or a political party wants good, supportive coverage from shows like this, stations like this, national conservative media, then earn it by doing the right thing. Earn it by being conservative, by being principled, by serving we the people, by fighting the good fight. That's the difference. So when you hear somebody say, you know what, this is a distraction, it's bad for this politician or this party, let's move on because we got bigger. No, there's no integrity in that.
The thing I also want to point out about the media response between this administration and the previous administration, I was mad because the previous administration was basically covering in a way that implied that we were stupid. It implied that we were stupid. The president plain out said, you guys are stupid. So that is something I don't think that's going to be good for the midterms. And it's the way that this entire thing could have been handled to alleviate all of this and keep us focusing on some of the victories, because we have had some good victories.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
But the fact that now it's becomes this thing where people are looking at like, really, you're defending this? What's wrong? And now it's like, I can't look at certain people the same way as I did before.
Here's the thing is we can do multiple things at one time. We can say the border's been shut down to illegal aliens,
which is great.
We can do that and say that's a success. And you know what? You give credit to that basically to one person, Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
We can say that we have had tens or hundreds of thousands of self-deportations of illegal aliens, and you can credit that with the Trump administration.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time say, but we demand transparency over this Epstein thing. Get the facts out there regardless of where the truth leads. Why? Because we expect our side to be better than their side.
Yes.
All right. I'll expand on that more a little bit later on. All right. A lot to cover here, including in the news dump here. Speaking of the Trump administration, there was another set of anti-Trump protests, sort of, in St. Louis. If you saw them, let me know, because most people didn't.
Patriot Radio.
Hey guys, I don't know about you, but I love learning about national and international issues here on News Talk STL. But do you know what's going on in your neck of the woods, your city, your county, and its politics? If you live in Jefferson County and want to know more about what's happening locally, join Speaker Tim Jones and me, Councilman Billy Crow, as we dive into all things Jefferson County on Sundays at high noon on Jeffco Patriot Radio.
Jeffco Patriot Radio.
On News Talk STL.
To our brave police officers and first responders, we say thank you for risking your lives to protect us. To all the incredible volunteers who've joined hands with the David Dorn Foundation to raise funds for equipment and services, we extend our heartfelt gratitude. We stand strong with our volunteers who give their time, talent, and dedication as a shield of support for those who rush into danger. The David Dorn Foundation gives a big thank you from our heart to yours. Visit dornfoundation.com and join as a volunteer.
We aren't asking you to volunteer for CASA. We're asking you to advocate for Alex,
Andre,
Ava,
Max,
Olivia, Ciara. CASA volunteers make a lasting impact in a child's life in only a few volunteer hours a week. As a CASA volunteer, you support a child throughout their experience in foster care, advocating for their needs and ensuring their voice is heard.
Learn more at mocasa.org. Paid for by the Missouri CASA Association.
I am an atheist. I really am a liberal, but I'm also a conservative.
No matter your side,
I'm a Democrat. I'm just a bit angry, frustrated conservative.
no matter your inclination,
I'm probably a liberal, maybe more in the middle.
we're here for your place to talk about it.
I'm the progressive liberal Democrat that you said is afraid to call you. St. Louis's #1 for conservative talk.
I'm sure we'll have a robust conversation.
News Talk STL. KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Belfast, KNVS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. $9 billion worth of planned federal spending on foreign aid and public broadcasting will be canceled. The House has given final congressional approval to the spending cuts. White House Budget Director Russ Vought says it's a good start.
We were watching closely about that first vote, and I think it's likely you'll see an additional package. We're not here to announce anything on this front, but in terms of seeing whether this was a useful effort that was not a waste of time, it certainly has satisfied that threshold, and we'll see where we go from here.
After noticing some minor swelling in his legs, President Trump underwent a battery of medical tests.
Bilateral lower extremity venous Doppler ultrasounds were performed and revealed chronic venous insufficiency, a benign and common condition, particularly in individuals over the age of 70. Importantly, there was no evidence of deep vein thrombosis or arterial disease.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. An airstrike on a Gaza church prompted President Trump to make a phone call to Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu.
3 people were killed and 10 were wounded, including the parish priest, when an Israeli shell slammed into the only Catholic church in the Gaza Strip. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt was asked about President Trump's response.
It was not a positive reaction. He called Prime Minister Netanyahu to address the strikes on that church in Gaza.
She said Netanyahu told the president it was a mistake to hit the church. The prime minister later released a statement saying Israel regrets the church strike. Greg Clugston, the White House.
On Wall Street, stock futures modestly higher this hour. The Dow futures are up 21 points. NASDAQ futures ahead 11. The S&P futures better by 2 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice, I like to do business with companies that actually stand for something. That's why I switched from Verizon to Pure Talk. No offense to Verizon, I'm sure they stand for something. I just don't know what it is. Pure Talk, on the other hand, is a veteran-owned company that supports our military in a big way, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I also appreciate unlimited talk and text and plenty of data for half the cost of the big guys. And I do like being on America's most dependable 5G network for just $20 a month. But what I really appreciate is no contract, no cancellation fees, and Pure Talk's commitment to handle all their customer service in this country. I saw it for myself. I went to Georgia. I got a tour of their headquarters. I met their CEO, and I talked to the same customer service folks that you'll talk to when you dial pound 250 and say keyword micro. Switch today and save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword micro. Pure Talk, a wireless company that actually stands for something.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
It's a relatively quiet morning with some clouds and early fog, but once again this afternoon, scattered rain and thunderstorms in the forecast, a muggy high of 87. Some are going to miss the rain altogether, but others will deal with some downpours and some gusty winds. Spotty rain and storms overnight, too, down to 75. Heat really builds this weekend. 92 Saturday, 95 Sunday. The heat index between 100 and 105, and still some spotty rain and storms around. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Chris Cooper and Serenity Wealth Management. Discover little-known strategies that could be the difference between choosing the care you deserve or having someone else decide it for you. Get a free copy of Chris's book at serenityltc.com.
Escape to Augusta, Missouri, where country charm meets endless possibilities. Just a short drive from St. Louis, discover our beautiful wineries, bike the scenic Katy Trail, and explore our rich history. Looking for romance? Our charming bed and breakfasts offer true hospitality with fine dining at local restaurants, wineries, and breweries. It's time to spend some time in the country. Augusta welcomes you. Learn more at augustachamber.org.
Are the days of a personal doctor gone? Not at Body of Health Direct Primary Care. I'm Dr. Randy Tobler to share how our design is putting the care back into healthcare. Plain and simple, our members, not insurance companies, get our exclusive focus. That means same or next day appointments, responsive answers to your concerns, and a no-spin, big tool chest approach. It's about time you get serious time devoted to your medical needs. To learn about healthcare the way it ought to be, schedule a discovery call today at bodyofhealth.com. That's bodyofhealth.com.
Whether at home or at work, you're mobile. So when you're mobile, stay mobile. Keep St. Louis's home for conservative talk with you wherever you go. Download the News Talk STL app in the App Store or at newstalkstl.com. Mike Ferguson. Gabe Phifer.
You are a whip scientist and you could be a whip villain.
Get up! Get up! Can't you hear the alarm? Get up, St. Louis.
Thundercats.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Get up! Get up! This is your cousin.
Okay, the spending cuts are happening. They are relatively tiny, but enough to upset Democrats in Congress.
Yes.
I mean, but think about it. How much of a spending cut does it take to upset a Democrat in Congress?
Yes, any.
Yeah, 1 penny.
A penny,
basically.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. And the Trump administration is feeling the pressure over the Epstein case. Will they have to give in and release all of the files eventually? I don't know the answer to that, but I think it's obvious they're feeling the pressure on that. And the Cardinals get back to work tonight in the desert. It is 6:06 on this Flashback Friday. Let's do a news dump.
The morning news dump.
Are you joking? Is this a joke?
Listen, folks. The morning news dump.
All right. They had until the end of today, but they went ahead and did it yesterday. A bill to claw back about $9 billion in federal spending goes back to the White House. The U.S. House voted 216 to 213 to pass that bill last night. House Speaker Mike Johnson praises the cuts that the bills are making.
This was directed to wasteful spending in the previous State Department, of course, the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, and a couple of other areas. We looked at that. We thought it was a waste of taxpayer funds, and we're taking care of business.
Okay, you're going to love one of the complaints now from the Democratic side, because on this, I want to put both sides. So here is Hakeem Jeffries, the minority leader in the U.S. House.
Republicans, Mr. Speaker, aren't interested in bipartisanship, aren't interested in common sense solutions to finding common ground anchored in Democrats and Republicans coming together.
Because the Democrats are super bipartisan right now?
Yeah. The Democrats want the spending cuts that we want. The Republicans don't even want the spending cuts that we want. So what are you talking about, bipartisan? It's like, yeah, let's get together and decide not to cut things.
They're not working with us.
And guys, remember, we're talking about an $18,000 deficit in your income, basically, bracket. And we're talking about cutting $90 a year out of that.
Yeah,
that's what we're talking. That's the scale,
and just for at one time.
That's at one time.
That's not even you can. We'll go ahead and spend it, put it back on the credit card next year.
It could come back next year. That recurring, that subscription to, I don't know, coffee of the month is going to come back next year.
Every time I hear a Democrat complain about, well, they need to compromise and work with us. Okay, the Democrats never want the Republicans the Democrats never want to move to the right to meet the Republicans in the middle. But they want the Republicans to move to the left.
Yes.
To meet them.
That's what bipartisanship means. And that's what it has meant for decades now.
Yep, exactly. All right. Former Congressman William Clay Sr. has died. Yeah, he represented St. Louis in the U.S. House from 1969 to 2001. He was then succeeded by his son, Lacey Clay.
Right.
When William Clay Sr. retired. William Clay Sr. was 94 years old. He was a St. Louis City alderman. Before that, he ran for mayor, didn't win, but he spent a long time in Congress. Okay, the White House does not support a special prosecutor being appointed in the Jeffrey Epstein case. Here's the update.
Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt was asked about the possible appointment of a special prosecutor for a full investigation into Epstein's federal sex trafficking case.
The president would not recommend a special prosecutor in the Epstein case. That's how he feels.
Some Republicans are calling for a special counsel, while loyal MAGA supporters who are unhappy with the Trump administration are demanding the release of more information. Greg Clugston, the White House.
And so we're getting some word that possibly some materials from the grand jury indictment might be released.
Right.
So I do think the Trump administration is feeling a tremendous amount of pressure from, frankly, their own base, who say, no, your answers are not acceptable on this.
And that pressure is great. I see that as a really good thing. If you, the constituency of a politician, are not able to move them, then they're not really a politician. They're a ruler.
Oh yeah. I've got a lot of thoughts on that later on in the program in the 7:00 hour here. Okay. So the White House sharing President Donald Trump's diagnosis of chronic venous insufficiency. This is so this is basically, he goes in for his medical test, and the White House doctor and the others look at him because people had noticed his legs have been swelling. He's had some bruising on his hands and things like that. Former White House physician for President Trump, who's now actually a congressman out of Texas, Ronnie Jackson, was on Hannity last night, and he says, yes, they did announce that, which, by the way, this is apparently a very routine minor thing for somebody the president's age.
Sure.
But he says the current administration is not repeating past mistakes, and he's referring to the cover-up of Joe Biden.
Their base wants this out, and Massey wants it out. The president's seeing now the writing on the wall. They're going to realize that these files have to be released.
See, here's what's funny is that almost every time, because most of our presidents are elderly. I mean, Donald Trump's going on 80 years old. We forget that your body is breaking down by that point,
right?
Even if you're in great shape for that age. And so it's funny to me, like, even when you go back to like Reagan, and then Carter was not really that old when he was president at the time, and then you look at, some of the older presidents out there, and they're like, boy, they're in perfect health, ship shape, top notch. And they were like, no, they're 75, 80, not 85, but their late 60s, they're early up to the 80s. They're not in perfect health.
No.
Stop telling us they are. Just say, hey, he's an old guy. He's got some stuff that's happening. This is a very routine, normal thing that happens to people of that age. And so the fact that the White House says, yeah, he's got this thing. You know what?
Yeah, big deal.
That's the best way to do it.
It's par for the course.
Right.
Also, by the way, if you are remembering the music that we're going to be playing throughout the day,
yes,
you probably have some health issues right now.
Probably, yes.
I'm just saying.
I'm saying if you remember if you remember all these songs, your joints tell you when the storm's coming.
Exactly. So yeah, you understand that, yes, with age comes some of these things.
Right. All right. Supporters of the now repealed Proposition A on the Missouri ballot last year say that they are bringing it back to voters. Okay. Missouri Jobs with Justice, which is a left-wing activist group, told KY3 Television in Springfield that they are going to launch another petition drive to put mandatory paid sick leave back on the ballot again. Voters approved that referendum in November, as you know, but the legislature and governor repealed it this year. For the next initiative, the backers say they are going to submit a constitutional amendment so that it could not be repealed if voters say yes again.
Yeah, that's what we were expecting. And based on the numbers, I'm expecting this to actually get into the Constitution.
Now the thing is they've got to get more signatures to put it on the ballot.
Yes.
So if they get it on there, they probably got a good chance of buying a constitutional amendment unless some form of initiative petition reform is passed in this coming year.
And given the Amendment 3 fix that's coming down the pike, that's not going to happen. We're not going to get initiative petition.
I think,
reform
and not to mention the Republicans have just failed time and time again to deliver. Yeah. Okay. More marching in the street. What appears to be a relatively small protest demonstrated against Orange Man Bad in downtown St. Louis on Thursday. Part of the so-called Good Trouble protest around the country. So it's hard to tell from the media coverage, which was pretty scarce on this, how many people took part of the St. Louis soiree, but it looks like it was probably in the dozens. I'm guessing maybe several dozen or 100 or more. If you happen to see it and there were more than that, let me know, because I was just looking and knowing what I know about media and how they were framing the cameras. You always try to make something look as big as you can to the audience, and they were using the up close framing and the angles down lower to try to make it look bigger. But from what I could tell, it didn't look very big at all.
Yeah.
That's just my guess on that. All right. The break is over. The Cardinals start the post All-Star break part of the season tonight in the desert. They are beginning a series against the Diamondbacks. That's going to be in Arizona. First pitch is at 8:40 our time. This is another one of those over-the-air games. Channel 4 is going to have that game. Pre-game starts around 8 o'clock. First pitch, like I said, at 8:40, and that's going to be both on Matrix, which is 32, I think, but Channel 4, KMOV, is carrying that game live. So over-the-air television, once again, back in St. Louis.
Inspiration, you have a soul so dark, it is no more. And all the ones depart, no destination.
Mike Ferguson in the morning. Mike Ferguson. Gabe Phifer. Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter.
Indifference, stop it right now before you blow us all away. You want to do that? Get up, can't you hear the alarm?
Basement with a Y. That's Basement E.
It's Basement T.
Basement E.
It's Basement T.
Oh, Basement T. Basement T. I get it. That's the basement waterproofing and foundation repair experts at Woods Basement Systems.
Right. The All Things Basement T experts at Woods Basement Systems will provide you a free estimate and dry out that wet basement and fix that cracked foundation. Call 800-388-9326 or go online to woodsbasementsystems.com.
That's woodsbasementsystems.com.
Join Aaron Tarlow every Sunday night at 9 on News Talk STL for Shall Not Be Infringed, your voice for Second Amendment rights and firearms education. Brought to you by DG Firearms, Kevin's Guns, Osage County Guns, and Full Circle Reloading and Firearms.
Think you know your facts? Put your knowledge to the test at the St. Louis Young Republicans Trivia Night. Join us Friday, July 25th at the St. Louis County GOP headquarters in Fenton for an evening of fun facts and fantastic company. Meet fellow conservatives while competing for great prizes. Doors at 5:45, trivia at 6:30. Reserve your table and get tickets now at stlyrs.com. BethSTLYRS.com. Presented by News Talk STL.
Life's legal challenges deserve experienced representation. For over 15 years, Cole Combs, attorney at law, has been serving St. Charles and surrounding counties with comprehensive legal expertise. From tax preparation and estate planning to family law and criminal defense, Cole delivers personalized solutions for your unique situation. We have traffic tickets, need a business formation, real estate matters. One call will handle it all. Cole O. Combs, attorney at law. Call 636-949-0010, extension 3 today, or visit colecombs-law.com.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
I love that you're starting your day off right with Mike Ferguson in the morning. It's your boy Joe Pags. Talk to you tonight.
But now let's get back to Mike.
Okay, this is everywhere right now. There's a good news, bad news situation for a couple people out there.
Okay.
Good news, they were having a great time at the concert.
Oh, yeah?
Bad news, their spouses, along with the rest of the world, found out about that.
Oh.
Did you see this?
No.
Did you see? Oh, my gosh.
No, what happened?
Okay, so there was a show. It was a Coldplay concert.
Okay.
And I forgot, I think this was in New York or New Jersey, somewhere. It doesn't really matter where it was. And so, as with most concerts, they've got this big, jumbotron, so you can see the band and the cutaway shots, and they do crowd shots and all that sort of thing. And so, what happened was they were playing, and I'm not a Coldplay fan. I think they're an incredibly boring band, but they put a camera on this couple where she's like leaning back against his chest and he's got his arms lovingly around her, and she's got her head kind of back, on the back of her head's on his shoulder.
So the producer is like, hey, get this happy couple.
This is a great happy couple right here. And then they look up and see themselves on the jumbotron. She hides her face and he ducks under to.
Wow.
And the singer of Coldplay actually says this when it happened.
Oh, look at these two. All right, come on. You're okay? Oh, what? Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy.
It turns out they're having an affair.
Yeah, that was actually real.
Okay, that
he called them out from the state.
He called them out. Okay, so internet detectives went and found out who this actually was, and it was the CEO of a company called Frmr. And his name is Andy Bryan, and the woman was their head of human resources.
Oh, snap.
Both of them are married to other people.
Oh, boy.
And the entire world now knows that they were messing around on their spouses.
And this is precisely why I do not go to Coldplay concerts.
I was going to say,
it's definitely Coldplay.
I mean, that's
They're
the thing.
The problem.
Are they being punished for infidelity, or is this basically, and I don't believe in karma, but just for the sake of the joke, is this karma coming back because they went to a Coldplay concert? Okay, so the circulating all over the internet is this statement from Andy Bryan, the CEO of this company. But get this. He says, I want to acknowledge the moment that's been circulating online and the disappointment it's caused. What was supposed to be a night of music and joy turned into a deeply personal mistake playing out on a very public stage. I want to sincerely apologize to my wife, my family, and the team at Frmr. You deserve better from me as a partner, as a father, and as a leader. By the way, this gets better. You're going to love this.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
This is not who I want to be or how I want to represent the company I helped build.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm taking it gets better. I'm taking time to reflect, to take accountability, and to figure out the next steps personally and professionally. I ask for privacy as I navigate that process. But it doesn't stop.
Oh, okay. Of course not.
If he'd stopped right there, it's like, okay, you're kind of a louse, but he goes on to say, I also want to express how troubling it is that what should have been a private moment became public without my consent.
Whoa, wait a minute.
I respect artists and entertainers, but I hope we can all think more deeply about the impact of turning someone else's life into a spectacle.
Wow. Okay. All right. You want to go there?
Coldplay.
Why didn't you trust me by not going into my phone moment there?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's the thing. You're in public.
Yes. Did you know that there's now a new verb that's been added to the lexicon?
Oh, okay. Urban Dictionary.
Cold played.
Oh, snap. You got cold played.
Cold played verb, the act of being unintentionally exposed while cheating, especially in public, usually during major events.
Yes.
2, to be seen at the wrong place with the wrong person at the wrong time. Example, bro thought he was safe in a crowd of 80,000. He got cold played hard.
On the Jumbotron. Yes, he did. Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
That is funny right there.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, I love it. Yes, absolutely. I love those situations, honestly, because the cheaters getting exposed is one of the top tier things that the internet has brought us.
And there are so many of those, oh, she got caught, on the videos, but it's like, that's a skit. That.
Oh yeah.
This was as real as it got.
Yep, this is the real stuff.
Now, here's the thing, though, especially for you're cheating on your man and your life gets turned upside down. Did you know that you might be entitled to compensation? We have
no way.
We have this segment actually has a special sponsor. I need to stop for the sponsor here to acknowledge our sponsor.
Oh, look at these two. Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy.
So you got caught with a married man. That doesn't mean you don't have rights. I'm Alex Trimble from Side Piece Law. Whether you're a mistress, a side chick, or the girl that does things that his wife won't, Side Piece Law has represented homewreckers since 2006. We offer free daily consultations right around lunchtime at the nearby Hampton Inn. So if your affair was exposed on the Jumbotron at a Coldplay concert, you might be entitled to compensation. Other attorneys will leave you unsatisfied. So get some on the side with Side Piece Law. Call 1-800-2-FORNICATE or slide into our DMs. Side Piece Law. Unlike that guy who won't leave his wife, we're committed to you.
Right. I want to thank them for sponsoring this segment here.
Side Piece Law. Oh my gosh.
And so you honestly haven't seen that video?
I haven't seen this particular video.
My goodness, you have got
I'm gonna definitely
up.
see. Here's the thing: if you get caught on the Jumbotron, your reaction is the bigger thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is, so the thing is, if you immediately hide, yes, all that guy did was say exactly what everybody who watched the video was thinking.
Oh yeah, exactly, because they made it so obvious.
You made it obvious.
Oh man. But here's the thing is that it's not even just about those two.
Right.
Okay, let me give you an example because I got this. I don't know how many pitches for interview guests for this show a day. I mean, and by the way, this next, I'm just going to read you one of the pitches. I got it and I rolled my eyes.
Okay.
But for whatever reason, I didn't delete it. And I'm glad I didn't because I didn't think I was going to need to use it. Okay. So let me read this. This, I swear, is an actual pitch I got from a public relations firm.
Right. For a segment on this show.
Yeah. They wanted a segment. Okay. I'm just going to read this word for word. Good morning. As summer heats up, so does interest in exploring non-traditional relationships.
No.
And new data from Ashley Madison shows that St. Louis is among the top 25 U.S. cities seeing a surge in new members this season.
What?
Paul
something right.
The guy's name, Chief Strategy Officer at Ashley Madison, is available for interviews to unpack what's driving the growth. Why cities like St. Louis are emerging hubs for non-monogamy, how cultural attitudes around infidelity and open relationships are shifting, what the data says about the motivations behind the discreet dating trend. Is this something you would be interested in? Best, Carrie, who's the PR rep on this. No, I did not book that interview guest.
No kidding.
I mean, seriously, that's seriously ballsy.
Okay. I mean, they're obviously sending these out blind. They've never listened to the show.
No.
Wow.
No, that I literally got that. That is an actual pitch that I received last week. For the
number
show.
Of interesting buzzwords being used.
Yes.
Non-monogamy, discreet dating.
Alternative.
Yeah. Oh my God.
They scouring people with single producers. And they're like, well, we can get this guy.
Exactly. Yeah. Seriously. Yeah. Well, what's happening? What is happening? Okay. Now then there's the other question. What is it about St. Louis where we're becoming the top 25 on Ashley Madison's list there?
The reality is that we're one of the top 25 largest metros in the country.
Okay.
So that's probably just proportional.
Okay, gotcha.
But it's fascinating that, I mean, first of all, cheating's been around forever.
Oh, of course.
Okay. Go back to David.
Yeah, seriously.
I mean, in the Bible, cheating's been around.
Kind of built into it.
It's never not been a thing. And you go back to like the 1950s and the Leave It to Beaver, era. How many husbands like, don't make me go back to my secretary,
Yeah, seriously. That was the joke.
I mean, but it's so out in the open now.
Yes, people have no shame. I mean, I think that's kind of
unless you're caught on the Jumbotron.
Unless you're caught on the Jumbotron.
And I don't think they had a moral clarity moment. I think they had an crap moment.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Our
That's usually
spouses are about. He had a "this is about to cost me millions of dollars" moment.
yes. The successful business owner who's caught in infidelity. Yes, in public. Mm-hmm.
Well, so because if you're at a concert and your spouses are not a fan of that band, you don't have anything to worry about if you get caught in the jumbotron. So they went somewhere that they knew somebody out there that they cared about. Like they would be seeing that at some point. They would be interested in seeing what's going on at the concert.
They were scared about the news coming. Well, here's the thing. What would have happened if they didn't react?
Oh,
I don't think. I mean, eventually somebody may have gone. Wait a minute.
I recognize this person.
And then, but the pictures were, it was clear. You could see them, but it wasn't like 4K clear. They might have been able to try to say, it kind of looks like us, but I mean, it's obvious who it was. But I think it shows up on there, and they may have had some splaining to do, but there's a chance that their spouses wouldn't have known. This went crazy because of their reaction.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, you got to take the Shaggy approach. It wasn't me. That was AI.
It was AI.
Never in my life. You know me, baby.
Me, baby.
Wasn't me.
But is Coldplay known for their romantic music? Why would you do that at Coldplay of all places?
I mean, seems to me like Coldplay would be the music you play to kill the mood. I mean, but then again, I'm not saying they're not talented musicians. I'm just saying I think they're boring. I think their music's boring.
Yeah, maybe that's why they were canoodling in the stands there. They were bored by the music. They were so bored.
But we did have somebody say, wait a minute, who's Ashley Madison? And I think,
yeah.
So for those who don't know, Ashley Madison is a website that is specifically for people who are looking for extramarital affairs and to cheat on their spouse.
It's marketed that way.
That's what they are.
It rose to prominence. The reason we know the name is because of news stories that came out. Because oh my gosh, look at this. We've never seen this before in terms of the dating space.
Right.
And I can't remember when that came out. It's early 2000s.
Yeah, literally their catchphrase at one point was "Life is short, have an affair."
Yeah, and then it made national news because it got leaked. And it was like, wow, look at all those politicians and clergymen.
That's right.
I know somebody whose name got leaked on that. I know somebody whose name was leaked on that, and his email address and it was his.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah, and let's just say he's a very influential person in the region.
Yikes.
And in the state. Yeah.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
You are a bully?
On News Talk STL. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
It's a relatively quiet morning with some clouds and early fog, but once again this afternoon, scattered rain and thunderstorms in the forecast, a muggy high of 87. Some are going to miss the rain altogether, but others will deal with some downpours and some gusty winds. Spotty rain and storms overnight, too, down to 75. Heat really builds this weekend. 92 Saturday, 95 Sunday. The heat index between 100 and 105, and still some spotty rain and storms around. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This is Mark Harder with RE/MAX Results, the #1 RE/MAX franchise in the region. As a licensed real estate broker with RE/MAX Results for over 20 years, I've seen the ups and downs of many real estate markets, including the one we're in right now. With the spring market in full swing, now is the time to leap into the buying or selling of your home. Someday is not a day. Today is the day to make your move. Call me at 314-852-8933 or email me at markhardersells@gmail.com.
Hey there, Tim Jones here. When life changes, you need someone you can trust. That's Todd Sivia. At Sivia Law, they're dedicated to helping you through all of life's transitions, specializing in estate planning and elder law. With 7 convenient locations in the area, expert guidance is always close by. Call 833-995-WILL, 833-995-WILL, or visit CiviaLaw.com. Don't forget, first 10 people that tell them Tim Jones sent me get a free $300 strategy session. Sivia Law, helping you protect what matters most.
Hey, Colombo here for Intervine, a great local company that has customers all across the country due to the quality of their products. Intervine has the best flashlights, lanterns, headlamps, and even batteries, including the new Monster 2000 Lumen waterproof lantern and the Sentinel 2000 self-defense flashlight. Our home and vehicles are full of great Intervine products, and right now you can shop their website and get 25% off your entire purchase just by using my name, Tony, as your promo code. That's promo code Tony at Intervine.com.
Hey, News Talk STL listeners, this is Levi, CEO of Reach Reproductive Health. There was a huge gap left when the biggest pregnancy center in St. Louis had to close their doors right after Amendment 3. But by God's grace and power, Reach has been able to step into that space. We have acquired Thrive centers and are continuing operations in greater St. Louis. I have a request for you. Would you pray and consider getting to know Reach more? We are here to see babies saved and families transformed by the power of Christ. Get to know us on our Reach community website, outreachforlife.org. That's outreachforlife.org.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
After the one big beautiful bill, what's next for Congress to handle and tackle? Congressman Bob Onder at 420 will tell us.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL.
It happened one summer. One time, it happened forever, for a short time.
Hey everyone, this is State Senator Nick Schroer. I am the host of Stand and Fight every Sunday night. Right now, let's hear more of Mike Ferguson in the Morning Show here on News Talk STL.
This is a great Flashback Friday song. This would be, I want to say, the Motels, I think is the name of the band.
Yes.
Yes. Suddenly Last Summer.
Wow. I'm actually surprised that you know this one.
They're kind of a, I mean, they had another song but this was their one big hit. So kind of like a one hit wonder. What a great song. It was like there's the other bands like this that it was really good stuff. Pop music, like Till Tuesday had a song that was phenomenal, but they never made it like huge, but they had big hits.
And not to sound too chauvinistic here, but a lot of the singers of that age, the female singers, they were just classically beautiful. I'm looking at her, and I'm like, I kind of am developing a little bit of a crush on her.
That was the MTV effect.
MTV effect.
Yeah, because all of a sudden you were looking at the singers, not just listening.
You're on video.
So you needed to have the chops, but you also needed to have the looks.
Yep.
I mean, like Terry Nunn from Berlin, Take My Breath Away. I mean, yeah, that was part of the 80s, man. That was it. All right, 6:34 right now. Don't trust the politicians on the left and keep the pressure on the ones on the right.
Yes.
That's basically the reality of protecting our Second Amendment rights at this point. It is 6:35 right now. We're now joined by Aaron Tarlow. He is the new host of Shall Not Be Infringed right here on News Talk STL that happens every Sunday evening. And so with Shall Not Be Infringed, I mean, this has been one of our more popular weekend shows. I mean, the program lives on afterwards because Second Amendment is so crucial to so much else.
It's a huge deal.
And so we've got, do we have Aaron with us right now? Yes, we do.
All right. We're this unfortunately does not seem like we're going to be getting him on the stream, but we have the audio.
We got the audio. All right. Hey, Aaron, thanks for being on the show. All right. So this weekend you take over the driver's seat of Shall Not Be Infringed. And somebody may say, man, you can't do a whole show, a whole series off one topic. It's such a narrow thing. But Second Amendment is such a broad-based foundation to so many of our other freedoms, I think is one of the reasons people have taken to this program so much.
Right. And so we actually had a show that aired for years and years and years just over the Second Amendment. And really, when you think about the Second Amendment, it's just not self-defense.
Yeah.
One of the constant things that we talk about, it's just not firearms. It was hunting, it was sport shooting, it was basically being your own first responder. And so when we laid this show out years and years and years ago, when I got asked to come back, I said, are we doing the same thing? Are we basically getting the band back together? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, we can do this. This is going to be great. So if you tune in to Shall Not Be Infringed, you're going to hear about local topics. So in the surrounding counties in the metro area, so St. Louis City, St. Louis County, Jefferson County, Franklin County, Washington County, St. Charles County. You'll hear about our friends off to the east in Illinois. We haven't forgot about you. And then the broader aspect of the state and Illinois as well, and then the whole nation. So, you can expect those topics. You can expect us to talk about all of your sportsman stuff too, and that's some seasonality. So, come, September, just kind of preview this. September is National Preparedness Month. So you can expect us to talk about those topics. October, we're going to get into turkey season. And then in November, we have deer. So, in the weeks leading up to those seasons, you can expect people to come in and talk about those topics.
Gosh, let me breathe first. Good morning, Aaron. Gabe, Phifer here. We know you're going to talk about also policy types of discussions there on the radio show, and the big beautiful bill was one of those vehicles where we thought we're going to get some sort of a positive movement in terms of two-way protections, and I guess we did. There were some things that got stripped out, I think, by the Senate, but a lot of that stuff kind of went under the radar, kind of surpassed by other topics. Tell us a little bit about what the big beautiful bill brought us in terms of two-way protections, as well as some things that maybe got stripped out that we're going to have to bring back in front of our politicians' faces.
Yeah, so the big beautiful bill, or the act, right? Because we can't call it the BBB. Got through a reduction in tax, right? So we went from a $200 tax for NFA items. People are probably like, NFA, that's National Firearms Act. So those were the scary guns and devices that the ATF felt needed a $200 tax. And that was not per year. That was just per serial number. It was a one-time thing. And these were like short barrel rifles, short barrel shotguns, AOWs. That stands for all other weapons. So like the ATF didn't know what to classify it as, they just threw it under this guise of AOW. And then suppressors, which were really just mufflers for your firearm. And then, of course, the politicians make those out to be super scary, right? Like, they're super quiet, and they're not. They just bring it down to kind of hearing safe levels. Not all suppressors do that, but the vast majority of them do when you're using the right ammunition under the right conditions. It's hearing safe. I personally love shooting with a suppressor. It's how I introduced Piper, my 7-year-old, into shooting. I didn't give her this big, loud, scary gun. I gave her a firearm. We learned on something that the noise came down. And that's a great way for somebody who just wants to learn how to target shoot to get introduced. It's great for hunters because they don't necessarily want to wear hearing protection. They want to hear what's going on around them. And when they take a shot at a game, then the guy that's hunting a field over isn't hearing the crack of a rifle and scaring off the game that he's watching and waiting for his shot on. And then from like the self-defense perspective, if somebody breaks in your house, you don't have this pressure wave that is trapped by four walls, a ceiling, and a floor that damages your hearing, damages your loved one's hearing, etc. So anyway, so all those things got knocked down to a $0 tax. Well, that then brought in a bunch of lawsuits that got filed, and we talk about more of that on the show. But we didn't get rid of the NFA and the registry, which was really the goal. Because you had to register these firearms, you had to fill out a form, you had to submit fingerprints. And I remember my first machine gun, I think we waited like 2 or 3 years to get the approval from ATF, and then it finally came, and we were like, great. It took forever. And now I had actually just a friend of mine the other day. He's a surgeon. He goes, hey, I'm going to submit. It was a Form 1, and he had it back in 2 days. And it was like, that's the way it should be. You should submit it, and within a business day or two, you should have it back. Really, I don't think there should be any registry.
There you go. In a perfect world,
right.
In the perfect world, the government realizes, what shall not be infringed actually means. But yeah,
right. And so now these lawsuits from like Gun Owners of America, we talked about this actually on the show this weekend, have moved forward to say, the NFA had been challenged in the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court upheld it as a tax. Does that sound familiar? Because they used the same guys under the Obamacare legislation of it's a tax, so we can do this. And so it's really, in my opinion, is just an abuse of power. If we want to regulate something, we call it a tax, and we know the Supreme Court will uphold it. So now that it's a $0 tax and just a registry, does the federal government really have any standing to do that? And that shall not be infringed. Nowhere I can find says, we have to have a registry of all the firearms of the firearms owners. And they've tried it, and in the past they failed, but they've managed to do it with NFA stuff. Now this does not go as far as we would like. Kind of like what Gabe was saying with like machine guns. So if you've got a machine gun, that's still going to be registered. There's still going to be a $200 tax, and there's still going to be the fingerprints and the waiting period. And it's just maybe a matter of time until that falls. I don't know if we're going to get that, but we did really truly have a once in a generation opportunity this with a pro president or pro gun president with a pretty pro gun House and Senate that were willing to roll back all these taxes and progress with some reform. So, did we get something? Yes, we did. Did we get it all? No, we didn't. But, Democrats have been taking our rights to choose, our healthcare, our firearms, trying to regulate internet, like all these things. They've been taking inches and inches and inches and inches of our rights. And so I've been telling people this has been a win for us, and we can measure it in feet, not inches.
Nice. We're visiting with Aaron Tarlow, the new host of Shall Not Be Infringed, which you can hear Sunday evening at 9 right here on News Talk STL. Okay, just got a minute or so left, Aaron. Okay, so I'm hearing we're gonna get the updates on the political and policy efforts regarding preserving or reclaiming our Second Amendment rights. But I'm also hearing that there's probably going to be a whole lot of just like gun talk as far as as far as the recreational part of it, or the equipping self-defense part of it, so it looks like it's not even just a political thing. This is a much broader show, is the direction we're going to go with this.
Right. And I always tell people, and this is something else, it is going to be a very broad, it's kind of a variety show, but it is going to center around your rights and your rights around firearms. And so there are aspects of hunting that were restricted and now have come forward, where we have like longer seasons now for firearms seasons. And then the other thing too is, I hate to always say it's a political topic, because really only one side has made it a political topic. And then of course, the conservatives, Republicans, and whatnot, we had to respond to this. You need to remember that the Constitution was written for all citizens. Okay. And so with that being said, firearms are for everybody. And I always hate how politically divided this topic can get, because you have the right to self-defense no matter who you are. Really, our right to self-defense comes from our creator God, who's handed this down. And even when you look biblically at stuff too, and you'll get a little variety of this, there were weapons for self-defense in the Bible, and it said, sell your cloak and buy a dagger. And dagger historically was used, would be like the equivalent to our pistol today. So we've got the precedent. And I think really it applies to all people, but we're lucky enough to live in this country, and we need to preserve it to be the light.
Okay, so we've got a Shall Not Be Infringed page, obviously, at newstalkstl.com. People want to get in touch with you outside of the show. What's the way to do it?
So all that stuff is forthcoming. We were actually talking last night, we're going to be getting the socials up and running with the Shall Not Be Infringed Facebook page. We're going to get an email address for you guys to submit questions. And then as we start really rolling and getting a bunch of content created, especially when we were doing the Second Amendment radio, I just had so much that I would get on and do a live stream midweek. So you would catch us on the weekend, and then on Wednesday or Thursdays, I'd log on and kind of give you a little preview of what was going to come, and then cover some of the topics that we didn't get to cover in depth, or anything we didn't get to that I thought was newsworthy. And it was a great way to interact with us.
All right. Aaron Tarlow, new host of Shall Not Be Infringed every Sunday evening right here on News Talk STL. Hey, appreciate it. We'll talk to you again soon, man.
Thanks, Aaron.
All right. Thank you, sir. Have a good day.
All right. You got it. 6:47 right now. Let's bring you update of what's happening around the region, around the country. Yes, the Republicans actually followed through with the spending cuts. They done it.
They did it.
We'll get the response from both the leader of the Republicans and the leader of the Democrats. The president is going to sign that probably today, but we'll bring you that update here right around 6:50.
Sometimes I never leave, but sometimes I would. Sometimes I stay too long, sometimes I would.
Thanks for taking my call. News, analysis, opinion.
Radio news junkie. Love every bit about it.
News Talk STL.
Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor. Connor Roofing is now a 2-time winner of the National Best of the Best Award for customer satisfaction for roofing, storm damage restoration, siding, gutters, both residential and commercial. Please visit ConnorRoofing.com for an estimate. And remember, you can count on Connor.
JC's Wayback Machine.
We'll remember the moon landing this week in '69, the 50th anniversary of the Fleetwood Mac album, and Michael J. Fox's visit in '91. Plus a rare A-list interview with Linda Ronstadt, who turned 75 this week. We talk with the great Jimmy Griffin and give away some El Monstero tickets. All that, along with great tunes from the 90s, 80s, and 70s, presented by the Weber Automotive Group.
It's JC's Wayback Machine. Every Saturday night, 6 to 9. News Talk STL.
With all of the celebrations, anniversaries, and holidays coming up over the next few months, where are you going to go to get that special something for the special people in your life? Newsteaders Fine Jewelers, of course. Newsteaders Fine Jewelers, found 24/7 at wowdiamonds.com. Tim Jones here to tell you all about Newsteaders Fine Jewelers. Richard Newsteader and his team serving our region since 1961 with awesome, honest jewelry solutions. They've got everything from diamonds to wedding engagement rings, hand-engraved items, pendants, earrings, and so much more. You can find them 24/7, wowdiamonds.com. That's Newsteaders Fine Jewelers, wowdiamonds.com.
Experience the true flavors of Mexico at Dos Primos, O'Fallon's premier Mexican restaurant. From sizzling fajitas to homemade caldo de pollo, every dish is crafted with the freshest ingredients and traditional recipes, all made fresh daily in our kitchen. Cool down with our famous margaritas or your favorite cerveza, while our friendly staff makes you feel like family. Dine in or carry out. Visit DosPrimosMexicanRestaurant.com or find us on North Main in O'Fallon.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at Stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Hey, Chris Arp from the Tim Jones and Chris Arp Show. Make sure that you're listening to our show this afternoon from 4 to 6. Now back to the Mike Ferguson in the Morning Show.
The band that inspired a very short-lived hairstyle phenomenon, and we quickly, even in the 80s, went, oh, that's not a good idea.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe not do that one.
A Flock of Seagulls.
Yeah.
Yes, I ran one of the classic. You can't really say, what did the 80s sound like without having something from A Flock of Seagulls.
That's true.
Yeah. Actually, believe it or not, they're still making they're still doing concerts.
No way.
Yeah, they're doing like those 80s cruises things.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
Like
that makes
the
sense.
80s festivals
That
kind
makes
of thing.
sense.
So they're actually still out there. They actually still play together every once in a while. All right, 6:51 right now. Spending cuts are happening. I mean, even little ones, relatively tiny, but they are enough to upset Democrats in Congress.
So
Trump
they're more than zero.
Yeah, I'm going to get into this a little bit later in the 7 o'clock hour here. Trump administration is feeling the pressure over the Epstein case. Will they have to give in and release the files eventually? But I've got an update on that, but I've got some more thoughts on, frankly, conservative media.
Yeah.
And the pattern I'm seeing in conservative media. And Cardinals, back to work tonight in the desert. Let's go and dump some news on you here.
Successful dump. Wake up, America. It all worked out.
You know, I mean, they got all the news.
The morning news dump.
But Mike, you're not going to get invited to the parties if you criticize conservative media. Okay, I'll sleep in. All right.
I don't like parties anyway.
Yeah, really. So the bill that would claw back about $9 billion in spending moves back to the White House. I say back to the White House because rescission package came from the White House. Congress has now approved it. It's gone back to the White House where President Trump's likely to sign it today. So the House voted yesterday 216 to 213 to approve those cuts. Here's House Speaker Mike Johnson talking about that.
This was directed to wasteful spending in the previous State Department, of course, the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, and a couple of other areas. We looked at that. We thought it was a waste of taxpayer funds, and we're taking care of business.
Okay, so House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries just upset that his buddies aren't working with him in the Congress.
Republicans, Mr. Speaker, aren't interested in bipartisanship, aren't interested in common sense solutions to finding common ground anchored in Democrats and Republicans coming together.
Because common ground's a big thing with Democrats.
Oh,
right?
yeah. That's their standard go-to, isn't it?
Yeah.
Here's a quick question. What's the common sense solution to overspending by 1.8 something trillion a year? What's the common sense solution?
Common sense to me would mean spend less money.
Oh, yeah. About $1.8 trillion less.
Yeah,
right.
Precisely.
Yeah,
so,
we can't get you to add 90 billion. We're not.
Not even 99.
That's right. That's
9.
right. We're not even 90. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's right. And you've been fighting us the whole way on that. Where's the compromise?
Yeah. Why aren't you guys buddying up? Meet us in the middle here. Okay, meet us in the middle. Okay, then let's. That's what $700 billion. Then we'll cut then.
Yeah.
Okay.
To the right.
That's meeting in the middle.
Yeah.
All right. By the way, former Congressman William Clay Sr. has died. He represented St. Louis in the U.S. House from 1969 to 2001. He was then succeeded by his son Lacey Clay when he retired. William Clay Sr., obviously a Democrat, was 94 years old. Okay, the White House does not support a special prosecutor being appointed to look into the Jeffrey Epstein case. Here's the story.
Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt was asked about the possible appointment of a special prosecutor for a full investigation into Epstein's federal sex trafficking case.
The president would not recommend a special prosecutor in the Epstein case. That's how he feels.
Some Republicans are calling for a special counsel, while loyal MAGA supporters who are unhappy with the Trump administration are demanding the release of more information. Greg Clugston, the White House.
Okay, supporters of the now repealed Proposition A say they are bringing it back to voters. Missouri Jobs with Justice, which is a left-wing activist group.
Yeah.
They told KY3 Television in Springfield that they are going to launch another petition drive to put mandatory paid sick leave back on the ballot again. Voters approved that referendum in November, but the legislature and the governor repealed it this year. For the next initiative, those backers say they are going to submit a constitutional amendment so it could not be repealed if voters say yes to this again.
Yeah, and they do have a higher threshold to get on the ballot, right?
Yes,
Because
yes.
of that's how it works. So they're gonna have take a lot of people out there with the clipboard at the Walmart trying to get the signatures. But I'm thinking, just based on numbers, based on I guess public sentiment that you can kind of gauge, that not only are they going to get the signatures to get on the ballot, but this is going to become a constitutional amendment.
If they get it on the ballot, they're probably going to pass it. Although I will say that the business groups now know, oh, I guess we better campaign against it.
That's true. That's true. There may actually be an opposition campaign this time.
Yes.
So I guess there's something.
I mean, it was bad. Prop A was bad policy. It was a bad. Voters made a mistake.
Yes.
But I'm still a little this isn't a constitutional issue.
No.
This is a policy issue. And the left played by the rules. They
won.
And you know, Republicans rightly say, well, voters didn't understand the impact of what was going to happen, probably, but that's what campaigns are for.
Right.
So the policy was fixed. So do the ends justify the means, or do we look at this and say, literally 58% of the voters voted for this? Now, I voted against it, and I'll vote against it again, and I hope we don't put it back into policy. But what's happening now, like you just said, Gabe, is that they're saying, okay, well, if you're just going to repeal what you don't like, then we'll just put it as a constitutional amendment. because Republicans have failed to deliver initiative petition reform for like 6 years in a row now.
Yeah, and now we're stuck in a weird spot where we have to hold off on passing initiative petition reform so we can get the Amendment 3 fix in first. So yeah, we just screwing ourselves, paying ourselves into a corner, and then dumping the bucket over our heads.
Okay, more marching in the street. So what appears to be a relatively small protest demonstrated against, Orange Man Bad in downtown St. Louis on Thursday, part of the so-called Good Trouble protest around the country. I didn't I didn't see any reports of any other protests around the St. Louis area. If there were some, let me know, but I didn't see any. So I think this thing is kind of fizzling out, at least for the moment.
Honestly, I think I feel like I've only heard about this stuff from you.
Probably. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's what happens when you get into work at 3:30 in the morning. You scour all the. Okay. By the way, baseball break is over. Cardinals start the post All-Star break part of the season tonight. They're in the desert to play against the Diamondbacks in Arizona. First pitch is at 8:40. This one is on over-the-air television again. Our buddies over at KMOV Channel 4 are carrying the game. Pre-game starts right around 8 p.m.
Hey, it's Chris Cooper here with Serenity Wealth Management. Join us this Sunday on Serenity Wealth Now Radio. Special guest, Caleb Guns of Diamond G Hat Company is going to come in and share some updates about what's going on with Diamond G and where you can see some of his cool custom hats in our community. Sunday morning right here on News Talk STL, 9 a.m. and always at SerenityWealthNow.com and socials.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors, LLC.
I've got a great evening planned for you. We start with dining at the Oak Street Inn Lounge in Connellville. We enjoy sunset on the rooftop, then down to the speakeasy. Just one visit. You're going to see why I'm always talking about the Oak Street Inn and Lounge. Plus, you might want to plan a staycation, a romantic getaway. Check out OakStreetInnandLounge.com for various events this summer. Oak Street Inn and Lounge, Cottleville. Oak Street Inn and Lounge, Cottleville.
Hi, I'm Rodney Wallner.
And I'm Jen Wallner with the Wallner Home Selling Team at Berkshire Hathaway.
Hey, Jen, how do you sell your home for top dollar?
That's easy. Call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
What if I want a flexible commission plan?
Call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
What's the best time to sell your home?
Right now, call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
For all your real estate needs, call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
That's 314-810-SOLD.
There's always something.
The yeas are 218, the nays are 214. The motion is adopted.
Something of interest.
President Trump directed the most complex and secretive military operation in history.
Something that affects your life.
You will start seeing historic growth like we've never seen before.
And that's why we are here.
We don't work for Donald Trump. We work for the American people. Boost that the U.S. economy really, truly needs.
101.9 and 94.1.
St. Louis is #1 for conservative talk.
News Talk STL. KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Belfast, KNVS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 101.9, 94.1, and always streaming at NewsTalkSTL.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. With an early morning vote in the House, Congress has given President Trump the go-ahead to cancel $9 billion in planned spending on foreign aid and public broadcasting. The president acting on some of the recommendations made by DOJ.
The Senate amended measure, which restored $400 million to a global AIDS prevention program that the original package had cut, passed the House shortly after midnight through a 216-213 procedural vote that deemed the measure approved without a direct up or down vote. The package, which originated as a request from the White House Office of Management and Budget, represents roughly 5% of the $190 billion in savings DOJ says it has identified. Bernie Bennett reporting.
The president's asking Attorney General Bondi to facilitate the release, subject to court approval, of all relevant grand jury transcripts from the Jeffrey Epstein case. The president writes on Truth Social, this scam perpetrated by the Democrats should end right now. Later today, President Trump will preside over a ceremonial swearing in of his brand new IRS commissioner.
Former Congressman Billy Long was confirmed to lead the IRS last month and now leads an agency he once sought to abolish. In a message to employees, Long said he wants to develop a more taxpayer-friendly agency by transforming the culture. Since the start of the Trump administration, the IRS has undergone massive change, including widespread layoffs and voluntary retirements of tens of thousands of workers. Greg Clugston, the White House.
Homeland Security Secretary Noem hinting at possible changes to TSA's liquid restrictions for airline passengers. It could mean parting from the current rules that have limited liquids in carry-on bags. Experts say that newer scanner technology is better at detecting explosive liquids concealed in carry-on bags. Watching Wall Street, the Dow futures 14 points higher. NASDAQ futures up 14 as well. More on these stories at townhall.com.
If you're living with pain, see how Relief Factor can help.
My back got injured very bad. I was off work for about a year. I heard about Relief Factor from my wife. I took it every day, 3 times a day for 3 weeks. Look at her and I said, the pain is gone. And she said, I'm glad it helped. I said, no, you don't understand. It's gone.
Fight pain naturally with Relief Factor. Go to relieffactor.com and get your 3-week quick start today. Only $19.95.
Are you over the age of 55 and want to secure your wealth with physical gold and silver? We are Advantage Gold, the #1 customer-rated gold company in America. We have been helping investors take their 401ks and retirement accounts and diversify them into physical precious metals like gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. Call us right now, 800-900-8000. Just call 800-900-8000 and claim your free gold investing starter kit. Also learn how you might qualify for up to $10,000 in free gold and silver. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Please consult your tax or financial advisor. Call us at 800-900-8000.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
It's a relatively quiet morning with some clouds and early fog, but once again this afternoon, scattered rain and thunderstorms in the forecast, a muggy high of 87. Some are going to miss the rain altogether, but others will deal with some downpours and some gusty winds. Spotty rain and storms overnight, too, down to 75. Heat really builds this weekend. 92 Saturday, 95 Sunday. The heat index between 100 and 105, and still some spotty rain and storms around. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Rodney and Jen Wallner and the entire Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway. Call them today at 314-810-SOLD. 314-810-SOLD.
Looking for a hardware store that treats you like family? Welcome to True Value Schneider's Hardware, your local gem in Old Town St. Peters. For over 100 years, we're proudly serve you St. Charles County, providing everything from lawn and garden supplies to plumbing and electrical. Need a bolt or fastener? We've got you covered. And don't forget, we're a steel dealership. Whether you need sales, parts, or service, ask for Charlie or Jerry when you come in. We're here to help. Call 636-278-4461 or visit us online at truevalue.com/Schneiders.
Hey folks, Jamie Allman here. Exciting things are happening at the Hideout in High Ridge. Famous for the Sunset Patio, 4 big screen TVs, live music and events, and of course, the wings. The Hideout now has a brand new menu featuring handcrafted burgers and new items like their signature sunset dip and Dave's Chili. And now a second location, the Hideout at Sugar Creek Golf Course in High Ridge, featuring great event space. You can stop by for lunch or dinner. The new 2025 Hideout and the new Hideout at Sugar Creek Golf Course. We'll see you there.
Mike Ferguson.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
Gabe Phifer.
It's the sugar honey iced tea, baby.
Get up, can't you hear the alarm?
Get up, St. Louis.
So it's time to get out of bed. Pour yourself the greatest cup of Kofifi the world has ever seen. Rise up with one voice. Drain the swamp and take back our country. Today's the day we're going to do it, and it's time to do it right now, believe me.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Get up, this is your cousin.
I'm Kofifi-less for this Kofifi dance.
Yeah.
I know. I went and did my coffee, but it ended up with all the grounds, and it was really gross, so I'll have to get some more.
You had one job, Mike.
I know. One job.
Get the Kofifi.
Couldn't get that done. All right. Pulling a bucket of water out of the ocean is not going to save anybody from drowning.
No,
Okay?
it's not.
But, it's a start if you're going to keep going, right?
I suppose so.
Okay, that's a weird way of setting this up.
Mhm.
But we are now visiting with former Missouri State Representative Tony Lovasco, because sometimes on a Friday, I just like to cleanse our palate. Let's get stuff off our chest and go into the weekend fresh here. So, Tony, you've been in the appropriations process. You voted on budgets at the statewide level. And so when you look at $9 billion of rescission spending cut, the Senate passes it, the House passes it, president's likely to sign that today or tomorrow. Okay, $9 billion is a lot of money compared to my budget. I don't know about yours, but compared to the overall federal budget, it's not that much. So how excited do we get that they're cutting $9 billion in this one package?
Not excited, not at all. So forgetting our own personal budgets, let's compare it to Missouri's budget, which I think was what, 47 billion, something like that. Yeah. It would be a notable cut in our budget, but when I was elected in 2019, our budget was like $28 billion. So it's not even as much as the state of Missouri's budget has grown in 6 years. Oh. We're trying to say it's a massive win to cut the entire federal budget. This is symbolic. This is a attempt by the administration to show that they're serious and looking at maybe one day doing a thing. And that's great. I'm not going to discourage that. And certainly Congress has not done this for, 30 years, basically. It was 1999, I think, the last time one of these bills passed. So, yes, it's a step to show that they are actually paying attention to the fact that this is something the American people care about. But it does nothing.
Morning, Tony. Gabe here. Another disappointment kind of coming out of the White House, for me at least, is the this whole Epstein Files thing. Now it's a hoax, and we're being told to move on and not talk about it and focus on the political agenda instead. What do you make of this whole debacle?
This is very confusing. I don't understand politically what Trump and his administration thinks they're winning by this narrative. So first, they kind of make this big thing about, the files are on Pam Bondi's desk. We're going to release them. They do this big show with the fake binders and the social media people. And then, oh, no, we need some more time. And then they get some more time. And then now it's like, oh, they're not real. But maybe they are real, but it's a Democrat hoax. And they keep shifting the goalposts here for no discernible benefit to them. There's a couple of possible scenarios here. Either the files are real and they're incriminating, and that's problematic for various folks, or they're not real, or they're not incriminating. Any possible combination, I think I might believe. What I don't believe is why they continue to seem to make the choice to make it look worse for them each step of the way. Yeah. It seems to me that there's a great demand to see this information. Whether or not anyone believes that it's the real or complete information, I think is unlikely, but release what you got. Let people take a look, and they can make their own decisions. It seems pretty simple.
Yeah, 735. I've got a lot of thoughts on this, especially now that, to Gabe's point just a second ago, that we're being told, first of all, after apparently those of us who are saying, no, I want transparency. I want the spotlight to sanitize whatever's out there, being called foolish and stupid and all that kind of stuff. And so I've got some thoughts on that, because now the messaging is, stop talking about it. We need you to focus and help the administration on other things, but stop talking about this. That doesn't go over well with me. That rubs me the wrong way in so many different ways.
Oh, absolutely. I think the point here is that people have taken this as a flashpoint that they do not trust their government yet again on yet another issue of public significance. Well, the way that you handle that if you're in government, go away, don't look behind the curtain. That's the exact opposite of what you want to do. It really just perplexes me, especially because when you really put this together, if we really are to believe that there are people in the Trump administration that are somehow implicated, there really is a cover-up, well, they're not going to release anything that's going to implicate them anyway. They're going to redact it. They're going to change it. There's going to be people they don't like on there, and their friends aren't going to be on there. Like, that's how these things work. And so the reality is this is all for show on both sides. But if they don't want it to dominate the conversation, if they don't want it to distract from their agenda, then at least pretend to give the people what they want. We're not going to know any better, right? And so it's just perplexing that they're fighting it.
Shifting to Missouri, hard left Proposition A supporters want to bring the paid sick leave mandate back to voters after what was passed was repealed. This time, they want a constitutional amendment so Republicans can't repeal it again. So what does this say about our referendum/initiative petition process in Missouri?
Yeah, this is fascinating to me.
Yeah, we're right back to this again. I've lost count of the number of conversations that we've had regarding how pathetically easy it is to change the Missouri Constitution, the foundational document of our government here in Missouri, through a process that has no legislative oversight, that has, quite frankly, no editing. Half of these proposals that have made it into the Constitution have serious structural issues. A lot of them don't make any actual sense. They contradict other things that may or may not still be in effect. We rely entirely on the courts to determine how things are going to go. It's a bad process. It needs to be reformed. The legislature, while I was there, made several attempts at trying to reform that process, make it a little bit more of a mandate to get something in the Constitution. Unfortunately, as you guys know, that has failed. The current legislature has made basically no effort. Because this last term, I didn't see anything hitting the floor of either chamber that would put a proposal to the voters to modify this. And so we're going to keep playing this game cycle and cycle over and over again, where the legislature battles with the activist groups and the out-of-state interests that fund these incredibly expensive campaigns to mess with our Constitution. And it's going to be whack-a-mole until we do something about it.
Yeah, we're visiting with former state representative Tony Lovasco. And I mean, you've been there. You've been, like you just said, you've been in these debates. You've been in this fight to make the reforms and with the initiative petition. Is it overly simplistic or incorrect to say right now in Missouri, if you have enough money, a special interest can buy its own constitutional amendment and write its own regulations for its own product or industry?
Oh, absolutely. We've seen it happen several times. We came dangerously close a few years ago for the first time that the medical marijuana thing came before the voters. One of the proposals that only was rejected because there was a couple on the ballot at the same time, and that wasn't the one that got the most votes. There was one that literally would have put in our Constitution one specific guy in charge of the program. Him.
His name's Brad Bradshaw. He literally tried to write his own name into the Missouri Constitution. Yeah.
The fact that that's possible is pretty scary.
Yeah, it really is. Okay, so now we're in a weird position where we want to repeal and replace the horrible Amendment 3. But if we get initiative petition reform done in this coming legislative session, that endangers our ability to save lives and make Missouri pro-life again. So is there a solution in 2025/2026 right now?
Well, sure. I mean, for starters, I reject that statement. I don't think that initiative petition reform interferes with our ability to save lives and to repeal Amendment 3. It's very simple. Any proper initiative petition reform needs to treat the legislature differently than citizen or activist-led initiatives. The legislative process is the process by which things should become law, whether that's statute or the Constitution should be amended with the approval of the voters. And so any proposal by the Missouri legislature ought to have a lower threshold for passing by the people than something that just some group comes up with. And that's because we are a republic. We have representatives that ostensibly represent the various types of people throughout the state, the different communities, different economic classes. Those people vote on the proposal, and then the people are just giving them their last stamp of approval. That's completely different than when you and I just get together in an afternoon, we write some stuff and file it to the Secretary of State's office and collect some signatures. That is a completely different process that requires much more vetting and a much higher threshold for acceptance before it goes in the Constitution.
I don't know.
If we did it that way, solves all the problems.
Tony Messenger is not going to like that. I'm just saying, you're going to get a bad op-ed from Tony Messenger in the Post-Dispatch by saying that.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah, true.
All right. So, obviously we've got plenty of time before the next session. There'll be some, veto session stuff. And, I know they're talking about maybe another special session, but one of the things that I am glad to see, at least a performative assembly of a commission last minute or so we've got, Tony, is looking at property tax reform and capping and some kind of property tax relief in the state. What's realistic to get done? And is that the same thing as what should get done? I mean, there's the ideal and then there's the possible. What can we get done in Missouri?
I think short-term ideal is fixing the mess that's in Jackson County, dealing with skyrocketing assessments within one or two assessment cycles, dealing with maximum caps where you can't have a huge windfall because all of a sudden the economy changed. Those are things we could get done pretty quickly. What should happen? Well, we should eliminate property taxes. They're the worst kind of taxes. Governor DeSantis in Florida was correct when he made the same proposal, which is that, you shouldn't have to rent your property from the government. And that's what you're doing when you have property taxes. Nobody likes taxes. Taxes are bad. I certainly do not, relish the idea of raising some other tax in order to get rid of property tax, which is probably what would have to happen practically. But the reality is how we're taxed matters just as much as how much we're taxed. And it's something we have not looked at and paid nearly enough attention to.
All right, Tony, I know you're staying engaged. We tagged him on our social media already?
Absolutely.
We did. We've already tagged you on social media, website, anything like that. People want to be in touch?
Oh, always. TonyLovasco.com.
All right. We'll talk to you again soon, Tony. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Tony.
Thanks, guys.
There are people who hope that he returns to office and runs.
Oh yeah, there are people.
The libertarian in me is like, hey, he's one of the good guys.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
One of those people is me.
One of the good guys. One of the good guys. All right. I've got a real audio delicacy treat that you're going to recognize right off the bat.
Okay.
Gabe.
All right.
Because like you, or like me, you
Mhm.
have gray in your beard. Jerome has probably never heard this before, but Flashback Friday, it is particularly apropos to enjoy this here in just a moment here on 1019 941 News Talk STL.
Also, they marched in the streets in St. Louis again. They did? Did you miss the protest?
Really? Did they?
I think I missed the protest.
Apparently, so did everyone else, but we'll explain that at 7:20.
Can't you hear the alarm? Get up, this is your cousin. It's Friday.
On the next Larry Connors USA.
Trump says the Epstein case is distracting from his accomplishments. Maybe, but we still want answers.
Larry Connors USA. Now weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL.
All right. It's always a hunting season somewhere for something. And I got to tell you, if you're a hunter, you're an outdoors person, particularly you outdoors guys, you've got to know about my friends at Whistle Pig Outdoors in Troy. I'm telling you, if you have not been up to their store, it is worth the trip. Just a little short trip right up to Troy. Of course, if you're in the 94.1 area, man, it's next door. People drive from hundreds of miles around to go get their equipment, go get their hunting gear, and go get particularly their archery equipment, either ordered or customized by the experts at Whistle Pig. I'm telling you, these guys live it. This is a father and son family-owned business in Troy. Truly one of the top experts in the Midwest, if not the entire country. Listen, if you are a hunter of any type of game, particularly waterfowl, you got to talk to my friends at Whistle Pig. By the way, whistlepigoutdoors.com. You can look online at what they've got, but I am telling you, head up and check them out in Troy. I really enjoy hanging out up there. They've got everything, decoys, whether it's trail cameras, waders. And here's the thing, you can do it cut rate and, deal with all the problems with that, or you can do it right. And if hunting and outdoors is part of your lifestyle, and you know who I'm talking to, you know that I'm talking to you, if you're one of these, if this is really part of your lifestyle, you want people who also have an outdoors and a hunting lifestyle to tell you what the good stuff is. They don't carry the cut rate garbage stuff. They carry the gear, they carry the clothing, they carry the equipment that's going to last and is going to perform and going to put you in that spot to really enjoy this part of your life. Whistle Pig Outdoors, whistlepigoutdoors.com is where you're going to find them. And if you just need some advice, whether you're just getting started, whether you are a seasoned hunter, they have got your back on this. So check them out today. Tell them that Mike was bragging about them on the radio. I think we're going to have the guys in the studio probably next week, guys. It's going to be a fantastic thing, particularly, I'm telling you, if you're an archery hunter, crossbows, regular bows, high-tech starter, they have got you covered and they are passionate about this. So even if you just need some advice or you got some questions, check them out. Once again, whistlepigoutdoors.com.
Tony Colombo here for Gutter Pros, your all-in-one gutter service team that brings years of experience and quality that's affordable right to your doorstep. We discovered Gutter Pros a few years ago when we bought our home and inherited a gutter issue that was on the road to becoming a potentially big problem, but thanks to Gutter Pros was stopped before causing any major damage. They've also repaired the siding on our home because along with gutter repair, gutter installation, and leaf protection, the Gutter Pros are also the best for siding repair and installation. Learn about all the ways Gutter Pros can help your home at gutterpros.com.
Chris Arps here, and after Becky and I leave church on Sunday, we head down the street to Capriotti's to grab a classic meatball sub. And of course, for dessert, I get a giant chocolate chip cookie. I love Capriotti's, and you will too.
On Manchester at McKnight in Rock Hill.
This is 1019 and 94.1.
You know, millennial Trump supporter. I listen to it like every day. Like, seriously, you get it.
News Talk STL. The 80s.
Bueller. The 80s.
Let's go while we're young. Never been a decade like it.
Shall we play a game?
Never will be. It's Flashback Friday.
folks. Jamie Allman here, waiting for you for the 3 Martini Lunch, the Common Sense Radio, the Allman Report on News Talk STL. Now back to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
All right. Rumor is there was another one of those anti-Trump protest shindig things in town. Yeah. I mean, because I saw the article, like, these are going to happen all over the country. And we kind of questioned, like, okay, are they going to do it? I haven't seen much in St. Louis.
Yeah,
so I
what's
guess
going on?
it did happen.
I guess.
I'll give you what we know about it.
Mhm.
If you saw it and this was a big, massive thing, let me know, because it didn't look like it to me. But we'll bring you updated on that here in just a minute.
Yeah, these protests are starting to feel like the Loch Ness Monster. Like, I swear I saw one. I swear I saw it.
You did not. That was just a log rolling down the street.
Yes,
You did
exactly.
not. Okay. All right. Okay. Before we get to that, though, in honor of Flashback Friday.
Mhm.
Okay. Gabe, I want to introduce Jerome to something that all of us 80s kids think of
Okay.
when you say the words ice cream.
Okay.
You know what I'm going with this.
Okay, yeah,
okay,
yep,
because
all right.
I think you may have mentioned this in the Tell Me Something Good. This coming Sunday is National Ice Cream Day.
Mhm.
I think that was in there. And so Sunday is National Ice Cream Day. And the funny part is, being the Gen Xer, being the 80s kid,
Mhm.
my thought immediate, and I bet you there's a whole lot of people on who are watching and listening right now. If you're of our age, you know
Mhm.
exactly where this is. Okay, so Jerome, comedy used to be good.
It used to be
funny.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so Eddie Murphy did an entire bit about ice cream in one of his specials. Okay, we're going to relive this as part of Flashback Friday, just for your further introduction into 80s culture here.
Remember when the ice cream man used to come to town when you was little, and no matter what you was doing, you would stop and lose your mind? There's something about the ice cream truck that make kids lose it. And they can hear that from 10 blocks away. They don't hear their mother calling them, but they hear that ice cream truck. And no matter what was going on, the ice cream man came and stopped. You hear, ice cream! There it is. The ice cream man is coming! Mom! Those out some money! The ice cream man is coming!
This was all of us.
Thank you, ice cream man. Thank you. You get your ice cream. I get my ice cream. And I didn't eat it. I sang for a little while, you know. You know how kids are having going, I have some ice cream. I have some ice cream. No, there'd be one kid on the side, didn't get no ice cream, and kids don't care. They go, you don't have no ice cream. You didn't get none. You didn't get none. Cause you are on the welfare. And you can't afford it. Other kids join in, you can't afford it. You can't afford it. And his father is an alcoholic. You want to eat some of my ice cream, but want to lick? Psych. You want some ice cream? You want some ice cream?
Happy National Ice Cream Day on Sunday, everybody.
Absolutely. Not only does it capture the absolute, like he said, losing your mind that comes with hearing the random song, and the songs were slightly different depending on your neighborhood or what have you. But he also captured the absolute savagery that was being a child in the 80s. Bullying was part of. It's like it's not just that there were bullies and there were other kids. Everybody was a bully at one point, and everybody was being bullied at another point. It's the same.
This
same
is
kids.
a reflection of like what's great and what's wrong with us.
And you said that was Eddie Murphy, the guy from Daddy Daycare, right?
Yes.
Oh
yes,
no,
that's right.
Don't mention Daddy Daycare. That's the worst one. Beverly Hills Cop. Start with that one.
Oh my goodness. Let's see here.
He picked some bad
On
movies.
Rumble PMS 3105. I had this entire album memorized. Great memories. Yeah, I saw. Was this from Raw or Delirious?
I think that was Raw.
I think it was from Raw. Yeah, because I saw Raw in the theater.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, when I was in
geez.
high school.
Okay.
And it was funny. Now, keep in mind, I'm the son of a fundamentalist Baptist preacher, and I snuck into. First of all, going to a movie theater was sinful in our church, and I went in and saw Eddie Murphy.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness! I mean that explains why so much of the way that I am.
That's
right
how you
now.
were damaged.
That's
Okay,
how
okay.
that's what happened to me.
All right,
I'm just
all right.
saying.
Okay.
All right. I just thought, you know what? What's better Flashback Friday than that?
Not much.
That was perfect.
That's it.
Oh my goodness. All right. Let's see here. The so-called Good Trouble protest, I guess happened in St. Louis. Sort of.
Good trouble. I don't know. After that whole ice cream bit, I'm just thinking good humor.
I know that's right.
So it's like it's a whole thing.
Oh, but it's funny because just to follow up on that, because I mean, we're giving all the due attention to the Good Trouble protests in St. Louis because it wasn't much to it.
No,
so
we'll touch it.
But when the ice cream truck came and had the little ding 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 song thing, the kid, we all lost our freaking mind.
We did. Everybody started running.
Yeah.
You run towards either you're running towards the house because you don't have money in your pocket, or you're running towards the sound because you have to find it and you have to make sure they stop in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
Because if you don't catch them, they're going to move on.
They're going to move on next one.
And you can't catch up because your little legs won't carry you that fast.
Telling you, when Eddie Murphy described that, Jerome, that is exactly what happened in every single neighborhood, whether it is rural or urban, or whether it is suburban, or whether it was black or white or anything.
You're playing a game, it stops.
The exact same thing.
So the neighborhood I grew up in, like our block was just known for being like, we didn't have much money. So whenever the ice cream truck came around, we could hear it. We would go and do the same thing. We're like, Mom, check the couch cushions.
It's coming.
It's coming. It's like, okay, we can't have like the nice drumsticks in the freezer. So this will be our chance. And he would just drive right past. He would see us little kids running after him, like with the change falling out of our pocket. And
He's like, nah, those kids ain't got no money.
No.
Nope.
we actually had a snow cone truck.
Oh,
a little snow cone truck.
A separate one.
A different one.
Dang.
And
That's pretty awesome.
and then they would like have all the pumps of the
flavoring. Oh, yeah, the different flavoring. You can get a mix.
All the all the stuff that RFK Jr. wants to ban now. That would be like illegal now. But yeah, so when the ice cream thing came, what was the one that you went for? I went for the ice cream sandwiches.
I tended to go for the dreamsicle.
There you go.
Yeah, I love that combination, the orange and the vanilla.
What were the ones that he would deny you by driving away?
So I liked Choco Tacos, and those little ice cream sandwiches were always good. But I wouldn't know how they actually taste. I only saw them on the side of a moving van. So.
He sped up.
Slow down just enough for that we think he's going to catch up. Like, nope,
gotcha, kids.
Oh man. Okay. This protest in St. Louis. So here's the thing: is I found two small pieces of coverage on it by the local TV stations. So which tells me that it wasn't that big of a deal.
Right. Yeah.
And then when I looked at the video of it, I looked at it from Channel 4. I know how these things are done. I understand television production because I've produced a lot of TV shows, and they use the up close stuff and angles that tried to to make it look bigger than it was. Because if you go on the news, and this isn't even them trying to promote it, I'm not. Basically, if you go on the news and say, look, 12 people protested,
is like, why are you doing this?
Your thing doesn't get on the news that day.
Exactly.
And it's like, who cares? But it sure looks like it was a thing of who cares. It looks like it was maybe several dozen
okay.
in downtown St. Louis on the Orange Man Bad protest.
Okay, here's a gauge. Would the ice cream man stop at this area because he thinks he can make some money?
These are extreme leftists. They don't have jobs.
Oh, there's no money there. Man. See, it's Jerome's neighborhood.
Let me ask you.
It's Jerome's neighborhood. It's like, they ain't got no money.
Let me give you another reason. No, he wouldn't have, because they were marching in the street and blocking the street.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So he would have gone somewhere else where people are smart. But that's the thing is, these things are just kind of piddling out. I did not see any reference to anything else happening anywhere else in the metro. If there was one, let me know, but I didn't see it.
See, this entire time I'm seeing all these protests, all the division between ICE and the anti-ICE protesters. I'm thinking, where is Kylie Jenner with the Pepsi?
There you go.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
Right.
She could settle this matter very easily.
Have a Coke, just have a Pepsi.
That's right.
Have a Coke and a smile.
Which goes back to, what was that in the 70s? Was it Coke? It was like, have a
Coke and a smile.
Coke and a smile. That was.
I think so.
There was also the like.
I like to see.
That's the one. Yeah.
Perfect harmony. It's basically the end of that show about advertisers. I can't remember what it's called now.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, with Don Draper.
Oh, Mad Men.
No,
but that goes back to, that was actually a thing in the late 70s.
Yeah, that's like the last episode was him coming up with that.
Ah, got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. All right. Okay, so I'm not going to rehash everything about the Epstein files, but let's talk about conservative media, what we're supposed to be doing and what you expect from us. I've got some thoughts on that right around 7:34.
Also,
Best shot. Why don't you hit me with your best shot? Hit me with your best shot. Fire away.
Well, there you go again, listening to Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
It's a relatively quiet morning with some clouds and early fog, but once again this afternoon, scattered rain and thunderstorms in the forecast, a muggy high of 87. Some are going to miss the rain altogether, but others will deal with some downpours and some gusty winds. Spotty rain and storms overnight, too, down to 75. Heat really builds this weekend. 92 Saturday, 95 Sunday. The heat index between 100 and 105, and still some spotty rain and storms around. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Shane.
McGuire Moving is Silver certified, which means they are great at relocating senior citizens. In fact, McGuire is a household name because McGuire understands the stress involved when moving older adults. So if you or family members need help moving, I highly recommend McGuire Moving. 314-241-0600. 241-0600. Get a free in-home estimate. McGuireMoving.com.
Larry Connor's Commentary, brought to you by Vincent's Jewelers, offering a wide selection of jewelry, including lab-grown diamonds, affordable earrings, bracelets, necklaces, and rings, up to 75% off their natural counterparts. Visit VincentsJewelers.com. This is Larry Connor's Commentary on News Talk STL.
I have a personal question for you. Some might take offense. If so, I'm sorry. For some, it might be embarrassing. Again, sorry. But I'm still asking the question. How old were you when you stopped taking money from your parents? When you realized, or they told you, if you want money, you got to earn it the old-fashioned way. Granted, in your early adulthood, maybe they helped out on some big-ticket items, sometimes not even giving you actual money, but co-signing for you on a note so you could get it and establish credit, make a down payment, whatever. I know many of you are probably like me, earning your own money as soon as you could, mowing lawns, babysitting, dog walking, car washing. They gave you pocket change, but you reach a point where you need more money. What are you going to do? Who are you going to call? Well, Zoran Mondami, the mayoral candidate in New York City, has the answer, at least for him. The guy that wants to oversee the New York City budget says, I did work, but then I took time off to run for office. And I knew that if I run out of money, my family would support me. Typical socialist attitude. And as Margaret Thatcher said, that works until the other people run out of money.
Get more Larry Connors on Larry Connors USA.
Tonight at 6 on News Talk STL.
I want to tell you more about Wellington Environmental's dustless blasting services. Wellington can blast paint, grease, graffiti, even stripes off parking lots. Truly amazing and powerful. But can Wellington blast something more sensitive? Yes, Wellington can use dry ice to blast soot and odors off smoke-damaged surfaces right after a fire. Currently, Wellington uses dry ice to clean mold off wood inside a home. Why? Well, dry ice immediately disappears, turns into a vapor. That means no mess to clean up, no damaged surfaces. You need to check with Wellington. Always researching and practicing with new, better, faster, safer equipment and products for you. And it's very easy to schedule an estimator for your next project. Call Cindy, 314-644-4930, 644-4930. Be well with Wellington.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness One. Wellness One is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on NewsTalkSTL. And you can visit us at INHSTL.com. That's INHSTL.com.
Hey, folks, the Clayton Sleep Institute and my friend Dr. Ojal back supporting free common sense conservative radio. ClaytonSleep.com, treating the full range of adult and pediatric sleep disorders from sleep apnea to insomnia, restless leg syndrome, periodic limb movement, and narcolepsy. What an awesome place. New comfy setting for the sleep lab. ClaytonSleep.com, 314-645-5855. Better sleep, better life.
If you find yourself feeling out of place in the world, it's comforting to know conservative values haven't been abandoned everywhere.
The far left wants to destroy conservative values in America.
This is News Talk STL. Welcome home. The 80s. Excellent. Never been a decade like it. Never will be. It's Flashback Friday.
Good morning, St. Louis. Hey, it's Vince from The Vince Show right here on News Talk STL every weeknight at 8. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Okay, so when it comes to the Epstein stuff, we can rehash all of that, which I'm not going to do, or we can now turn the camera back on us a little bit here. Why do we loathe the mainstream media so much? Why do we loathe the mainstream leftist media so much? It's because we know they have an agenda. But here's the thing. I don't think we even fault them for having an agenda. It's because they don't tell us the truth.
That's it. And
they don't act in a critical way when they say they're covering stuff. All right, I want to get into that here in just a minute or two. 7:37 right now. We got Joe here. And Joe, my understanding is that you did see one of these protests. Was it the one downtown or was it a different one in the area?
No, it was in South County on Winburg and Baptist Church.
Oh, okay. I didn't even hear about that one.
Yeah, I was picking up my daughter, and what's going on here? And there were maybe 20, 25 people.
Okay.
And you couldn't tell what they were protesting by. I caught the light, so I was checking out their signs and looking for Trump this or Trump that, or fascism, this and that.
No kings.
No, right. It was very, very generic stuff. But what I really enjoyed was, while they were out there, one of those torrential downpours came through.
Ah, there you go. Oh, nice.
That sounds great.
Yeah. Yes. So
that is awesome.
Yeah, 20 people.
Thank you, sir.
Got
All
it.
right, thanks, guys.
Hey, Joe, thank you so
later.
much. Yeah, because even the one downtown, it looked like it was in the dozens. I mean, I'm going to try to be generous and say maybe there was 100 people. I don't know. I mean, if you saw it and it was more than that, let me know. I'm just going on nearly 30 years of media experience and knowing how these things are put together to say, I don't think very many people showed up. And then Joe says, there was another one, like 20 people, which, by the way, I mean, sometimes we have more than 20 players on my baseball team will show up for a game.
So if you guys walk together towards a deli or something like that,
we're a protest.
You're a protest.
Exactly. All right.
We're protesting hunger.
That's right. It's our own.
Your own.
7:30 we're protesting. We're protesting when you try to bunt on with 2 strikes.
There you go.
That's right. Okay. So 7:39 right now. Americans have strong opinions on the Epstein case.
Oh yeah. Very strong
without a doubt. Here's the thing. A lot of conservative media, it seems, is trying to steer us away from this issue and conversation.
Yeah, Jerome brought this up the other day because in my feed I wasn't seeing any support for the administration's line. That's like okay, move on, just stop this. This is stupid. It's distracting. My feed was generally speaking, and this was early on, that I was actually paying attention to this. My feed was generally filled with people who kind of was mirroring what we were feeling about it. It's like, wait a second, what are you doing here? I don't believe you. And that's kind of the response that I thought was kind of prevailing. But I was like, I'm wondering what's going to happen. And I guess part of the thing was I wasn't seeing anything, and I didn't even realize this at the time. I wasn't seeing anything from the big talking heads on the right at the time. It was mostly just, the general feeling of vast numbers of conservatives and MAGA leaning people, in my For You page or whatever. But then Jerome, you brought out that you were starting to see some changes among the commentary class on the right.
Yeah, and I know to the generations above mine that social media is not to be taken that much seriously, but it's undeniable that the engagement and the way that this stuff spreads really does have an impact on public opinion on people, right? So there were people that I listened to frequently that I've been fans of, and some of them were saying that I'm going to trust the administration, but other ones said no, I got that call too, and I'm not going to put up with that, and it's dishonest, and I'm changing now my allegiance, and I'm not going to go along with this because this is unacceptable. And so some of those people were people that to be honest, I was completely not expecting to take a stand like this. So it's just a very interesting thing right now that we have such a divide on people saying, well, we're done with this altogether. And if I can't trust, I campaigned for you, I rallied for you, I showed up to keep voting, and now you're calling me an idiot for keeping this in the public narrative. I'm not doing anything else for you. And then the other half of the people are saying, well, you guys just need to trust the plan. This is actually an own on the Democrats. And that's what the new narrative spin's going from accounts that have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people. So
here's the Newsmax, which has kept up coverage on this. You got to give credit where credit's due.
All right.
They published a story yesterday regarding a recent Reuters and Ipsos poll. Now, you know what I think of the state of polling in this country here, but it's interesting because according to that poll, 69% of Americans who responded say that they believe the federal government is hiding details about Epstein's clients. The percentage of people who say, no, we're getting everything we need, they're telling the truth, 6%.
So the rest is in the I don't know category,
right.
basically.
And the rest, about 1 in 4, are in the I don't know category.
Wow. Well, that actually makes sense. That sounds right for the public.
2/3 of Republicans think the administration is hiding details on Epstein's business. But here's one of the article, or one of the paragraphs in this article, and this goes on to what this piggybacks onto what Jerome just said. It says, I'm just going to read the thing. Behind the scenes, Trump and senior aides have also reached out to key MAGA-aligned influencers, urging them to dial down their criticism of the administration's handling of the Epstein investigation and shift focus to broader priorities for the America First movement. Okay, this is where I'm parting ways in a huge way. Now, Eric Burleson was asked about this on News Nation, and here's the answer that he gave. And I think this reflects the views of a lot of people.
Yeah, I love President Trump. I think he's done an amazing job. Honestly, with all the wins that we've achieved over these last few months, I think they're unprecedented and historic. I think that he's on pace to being on Mount Rushmore. This is not a good moment. And I think that, so I'm open. If the president has information that we do not have, I want to hear it. But I think that the American people right now, they expected these files to be released. And I think, look, we've got how many victims, right? Hundreds of young girls were victimized. And I think the American people and these victims deserve to have some kind of clarity.
So it's weird how many major conservative media outlets have either gone silent or are already dialing down their coverage of this when this was a big click getter for them.
Oh, yeah. I mean, during the Biden administration, and here is one of those tests, right? During the Biden administration, they were like, what are they hiding?
Right.
They're doing this. Epstein didn't kill himself. That was the big meme. That was like people would just show up.
The conservative
media. Yeah, exactly. And they would show up on camera. It's like, you know what? Epstein didn't kill himself. I think the government's hiding. But this is an operation of the deep state, and I hate everything about it. We need to get to the bottom of it. The powerful need to be held to account. That was the narrative prior to basically yesterday. It feels like, just up until the moment Trump said, "Hey, why are we even talking about this?" And there is no that memo actually was the issue. That memo came out from the FBI. I guess it was the FBI or
DOJ.
DOJ, and it said, the case is closed. That was the moment where everything turned, and I do not take you seriously if you turned right then.
Yeah. Okay. So if the mainstream media is wrong and if they're bad for being the PR wing of the left. Should we expect more from our side? Do you want then conservative media to turn around and say, well, it's going to be the PR arm and run interference for the Republican Party or for a Republican administration? I say no.
All right. Exactly.
I don't think that's what we should be doing. So how much credibility is conservative media going to have even among the conservatives, much less the mainstream public that we want to see things from our perspective, if they take suggestions or marching orders to say, don't cover this or do it this way or dial it down? Because at that point, you're basically looking at a conservative version of Pravda.
Right. It goes back to the idea that typically seems to be on the left of the it's okay when we do it.
Right.
We hate when they do that. We hate when they say, well, filibusters are horrible unless we're doing them. That's kind of the Democrat line. It's covering up this is horrible unless we're doing it. Now, are we going to start adopting that sort of position?
And should we trust any media, conservative media? And I'm targeting my own side.
Yes.
Should we trust any conservative media who at one point was saying, we got to get to the bottom of this. We deserve to know. And then suddenly says, well, it's a distraction. It's not an issue. Let's just move on. President Trump's right. Let's just focus on the other stuff. Let's not talk about it. Should we take them seriously? Should we take that outlet seriously? Should we take, I mean, and so if the left, if one of the things we are rightfully indignant about to the left is the way that the media abuses its reach and just runs interference for politicians or political parties. So let's not do that. We should not, meaning conservative media, should not be here to serve a politician or a political party or a movement. That politician and that political party and that movement can earn friendly, supportive coverage by doing the right thing and serving the right people and adhering to the right principles. We support them when they do the job for us, not the other way around.
Absolutely. Now, when the outlets on the right, when the voices on the right would come forward and say, we're independent media because we're not taking orders from the big channels. We're not taking orders from the Democrats. We're independent media. Yep. And then all of a sudden they become dependents to the politicians on the right. No, I'm out. I'm out.
No, I agree.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Always be yourself, unless you suck.
On News Talk STL.
Ozzie Smith ready for the flip, and we're ready to start the season. Here we go.
This is Cardinal Hall of Famer Ozzie Smith, and I'm flipping with excitement over the giveaway on Thursday, July 24th. That night, 20,000 fans 16 and older will take home the first ever legendary backflip bobblehead, featuring me, courtesy of Phillips 66. Don't miss the flipping awesome giveaway. We can't wait to see you on Thursday, July 24th. Secure your tickets and learn more at cardinals.com/promotions.
Harry Potter night is at Busch Stadium on Thursday, July 24th, as the Cardinals face off with the Padres in a magical showdown. With a themed ticket, witches, wizards, and muggles alike will trust the sorting hat and receive a mystery house jersey. Will it be Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, or Slytherin? Head straight to cardinals.com/theme before they disapparate.
Hi, Sean Long from STL Fenceworks. A new fence or deck is an investment in your home and your lifestyle. But how do you ensure that you're getting the most out of that investment? At STL Fenceworks, we know the key is satisfaction. Satisfaction means getting a fence or deck that not only meets your needs, but exceeds your expectations. Satisfaction means working with a team that cares about your project as much as you do. Satisfaction means having confidence in the quality of your new fence or deck, knowing that it was built with the best of materials and workmanship. STL Fenceworks, your satisfaction is our passion. And for me, satisfaction is knowing that providing for your family is how I provide for mine. Visit STLFenceworks.com and experience the satisfaction in making your backyard dreams into a reality.
Hey, if you're 50 or older, you do not want to take any risk with your money. In fact, you want Leslie Consulting. My friend Bob Leslie can show you a gain and retain plan. Means that you never lose. Plus, you get up to a 20% bonus on day one. Leslie Consulting, a leader in brokerage and risk management. 314-721-0066. LeslieConsulting.com.
Jesus is my friend. Jesus is a friend of mine. I have a friend in Jesus. Jesus is a friend of mine. Jesus is my friend. Jesus is a friend of mine. He taught me how to live my life as it should be. He taught me how to turn my cheek when people laugh at me. I've had friends before, and I can tell you that he's one who will never leave you flat.
Hi, this is Jefferson County Councilman Billy Crow with a reminder to check out our new show, Jeffco Patriot Radio, this and every Sunday at high noon. Now, back to the Mike Ferguson in the Morning Show.
Oh, come on. There's no way that somebody requested Sunseed.
S-O-N.
S-O-N. Sun seed.
It's not today's safe.
That's true. That's true.
He is a friend of mine.
By the way, if you want to go on YouTube and look up SONSEED and get this song, it's a wonderful use of your time.
The video was peak.
Glorious, like early 80s public access television.
Great.
Oh man. All right, 7:51 right now on a Friday. You know what that means.
It's the weird, the wacky, and the worrisome. These are the stories that make you say,
Look all the devil.
Oh, hell no. This can't be happening, man. This ain't happening. Devil.
Somewhere to be sure.
Not today, Satan. Not today. Amen.
fans waiting to get into a concert at Colorado's iconic Red Rocks Amphitheater were surprised by a different sort of party animal loitering outside the venue. A couple of bears.
Oh, isn't that special?
Yeah, just hanging out. It's like, hey guys, I like live music.
Yeah.
The crowds of people waiting to get into the Rush show featuring Big Sean and Sabrina Claudio. I don't know who these people are. Appropriately part of the Into the Wild tour 2025. They spotted the two playful Bruins not but a few dozen feet away. Red Rocks employee John Amundsen snapped a photo of one of the bears walking around a corner toward the crowd.
You know what's really weird about that?
What's that?
Is that they put that picture up on the Jumbotron because the bears were hugging each other, and suddenly the bears had ran away because they were cheating on their bear spouses. That's what happened. Yep. So weird.
Oh my god. The bear's hot. Oh my gosh. Somebody sleeping in my bed.
And it ain't my spouse.
All right. Amundsen, the employee from Red Rocks, said the bears did not act aggressive or threatening. Quote, they were very relaxed, not skittish, very playful with each other, he told McClatchy News. They walked across the road, didn't run. As you can see, all the people in the background didn't seem to bother the bears too much. It was an awesome sight. That's for sure.
Wow.
That's crazy.
But they can still eat you.
So be careful. Our second story here, a tractor trailer overturned in New York's Columbia County, resulting in what the local sheriff's office described as a significant spill of its load of milk.
Oh, no. No. Bad.
It's summertime, y'all.
Oh, horrible.
Columbia County Sheriff Donald J. Krapp said in a social media post that investigators are probing the cause of the single vehicle crash at the intersection of Gabauer Road and State Route 217 in Claverack. Pelly said he has removed snakes from the airport before, but that's from a previous
here's
story.
the thing is like it's obviously the mess and stickiness, and you can get the fire department to spray that off as much as possible, but it doesn't matter.
No,
within hours or a half a day.
Yeah, the smell's gonna steep up on you. The cleanup operation involved the New York State Police, the Columbia County Hazmat Team, a Department of Environmental Conservation Response Team, and the Mellonville and Ghent Fire Company. So that was a lot.
You may say, why hazmat? Well, lactose intolerant.
The milk truck's driver was taken to Albany Medical Center for evaluation. So I guess he crashed into something or what have you. It's either way
that smelled awful.
It's summertime, so milk was a bad choice. Now, in our last story here, a French daredevil broke a Guinness World Record after riding his motorcycle for 1,450 feet while on fire.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
Why?
Okay, it gets better. Jonathan Barrow, 41, a professional firefighter and amateur stuntman, broke the record for the farthest distance full body burn, they call it, while riding a motorcycle, adding to his collection of other flaming hot stunts, including the fastest full body burn 100-meter dash without oxygen. Which was 17.
Congratulations.
Took him 17 seconds. And the longest distance full body burn run without oxygen, which is 893 feet and 2.5 inches.
I mean, what goes through him? Like, you know what? I'm bored. What do you want to do this weekend? Oh, I have an idea.
You set me on. This does sound like an idea that came out of a pub.
Yes.
Right. It sounds like it's like, you know what would be really cool if I could set myself on fire
right.
and do stuff.
Now, do you think he was playing Burning Ring of Fire or Great Balls of Fire during the ride?
During the ride.
Good Lord.
Quote, during the other two records, I was burned in several places on my body and felt unwell. It took me over a week to recover physically from these performances, but I was proud to enter into the record book that I read as a child. Girl told Guinness World Records.
Okay, so do you point out the plaque on your wall from the Guinness Book of World Records and brag about it? Or at some point you go, yeah, that's kind of stupid. I should probably put that in the basement. I mean, congratulations. You set yourself on fire.
There's a statue that looks like the Human Torch from Fantastic Four. It's like, look, that's the one I did when I ran.
Oh, my goodness.
Now, Vero accomplished his latest feat riding his Yamaha Dragstar 1100 in Côte d'Or, France. To achieve this performance, he had to modify the bike to make it fireproof. Before practicing riding on fire, while on fire, several distances and in different types of weather. So he practiced this a lot. He lit himself on fire and rode his bike a lot. I kind of feel like someone told him to go flambe himself once, and he really took it hard. If a guy invites you to watch him burn some rubber, be sure to double check what he means exactly. In the meantime, when it comes to transportation during self-immolation, you know what I'm saying.
I call the devil.
Oh, hell no. This can't be happening, man. This ain't happening. Devil.
Just only way to be sure.
Not today, Satan. Not today. Amen.
Replacing your windows and doors? Do not settle for ordinary. Go extraordinary. Renewal by Anderson, the full-service window and door replacement division of Anderson, a name trusted for more than 120 years. Their exclusive FiberX material combines the strength and durability of wood with low-maintenance features of vinyl. You get windows and doors twice as strong as vinyl, energy efficient, built to last. For a limited time, get 25% off every window, patio door, or entry door. No payments for 18 months, zero interest. This is their best new client discount. Dial pound 250, say the keyword windows, or visit rbastl.com. Pound 250, keyword windows, rbastl.com. Get your free estimate. Renewal by Anderson. Superior products, exceptional service.
Patriot Radio.
Hey guys, I don't know about you, but I love learning about national and international issues here on News Talk STL. But do you know what's going on in your neck of the woods, your city, your county, and its politics? If you live in Jefferson County and want to know more about what's happening locally, join Speaker Tim Jones and me, Councilman Billy Crow, as we dive into all things Jefferson County on Sundays at high noon on Jeffco Patriot Radio.
Jeffco Patriot Radio.
On News Talk STL. Number one for live and local
conservative talk.
I've been a registered Democrat for 28 years. I'm really glad you're talking about this.
You gotta love these idiots out here. They think we're all stupid, I guess.
news, analysis, opinion.
Totally agree on that.
I disagree with you.
It's over.
Very upset.
Thanks for taking my call. Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you very much for taking my call.
Wanted to ask you really quick. Is there room on the bandwagon for me?
101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Belfast, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 101.9, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. With an early morning House vote, President Trump now has congressional approval to cancel plans to spend $9 billion on foreign aid and public broadcasting.
Democrats argued that Republican administration's animus regarding foreign aid programs would hurt America's standing in the world. Democrats also contend the GOP stance on this issue would create a vacuum for China to fill. But the White House argues the DOGE cuts would best serve the taxpayer. Officials also say these DOGE cuts would incentivize other nations to do more to address humanitarian crises.
That's correspondent Andrew Stewart. House Speaker Mike Johnson says Republicans are pioneering a return to fiscal sanity.
We clawed back $9 billion in taxpayer funds and wasteful spending, fraud, waste, and abuse. We've been targeting that every area. This was directed to wasteful spending in the previous State Department, of course, Corporation for Public Broadcasting, and a couple of other areas. We looked at that. We thought it was a waste of taxpayer funds, and we're taking care of business.
Be it a hamburger or a steak, it's costing us more.
Experts say don't expect much relief anytime soon. According to U.S. government data, the average price of a pound of ground beef rose to $6.12 in June, up nearly 12% from a year ago. The average price of all uncooked beef steaks rose 8% to $11.49 per pound. Beef prices have been steadily rising over the past 20 years because the supply of cattle remains tight while beef remains popular, and that's not likely to change anytime soon. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
Hoping to ease trade tension with the U.S., some Asian countries offering to buy more U.S. liquefied natural gas. On Wall Street, the Dow futures 51 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Healthcare is complicated. It doesn't have to be. If you don't love how your health insurance works, maybe it's time to leave traditional health insurance behind. Take charge of your healthcare with Christian Healthcare Ministries. CHM offers you flexibility. Enroll anytime, choose your own provider, and select the program that fits your needs and budget. CHM is the original faith-based way of taking care of your medical bill costs. Learn more at chministries.org/wellness.
If you're living with pain, see how Relief Factor can help.
I'm an artist and I'm in my studio. I listen to the radio all day and I'm hearing the ads about Relief Factor. And I've got pain in my neck and it's getting worse. And I'm thinking, well, I'm going to go ahead and order this. 2 weeks later, I've got much better range of motion. If you're experiencing pain at a certain point in life, I would get Relief Factor.
Fight pain naturally with Relief Factor. Go to relieffactor.com and get your 3-week quick start today. Only $19.95.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
It's a relatively quiet morning with some clouds and early fog, but once again this afternoon, scattered rain and thunderstorms in the forecast, a muggy high of 87. Some are going to miss the rain altogether, but others will deal with some downpours and some gusty winds. Spotty rain and storms overnight, too, down to 75. Heat really builds this weekend. 92 Saturday, 95 Sunday. The heat index between 100 and 105, and still some spotty rain and storms around. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Stifel, serving investors for over 130 years. Contact your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Getting new flooring can be exciting, or it can be a hassle. To make sure you have a great experience, use Michaels Flooring, like I did. Hi, it's Susie Moore, and Michaels Flooring has become my go-to for quality, variety, and an all-around great experience. They've been locally owned and operated for more than 30 years. Carpet, hardwood, laminate, ceramic tile, natural stone, luxury vinyl, it doesn't matter. Michaels Flooring is ready to help. 3 locations to pick from: St. Peter's, Darting Prairie, and Creve Coeur, or online at igotfloor.com. That's igotfloor.com.
Transform your furry friend at Dapper Dog. Personalized grooming for dogs and cats of all breeds, featuring creative color treatments and luxurious spa services with quick turnaround and one-on-one care. Let your pup play all day in our bark park Monday through Friday. Need overnight boarding? We accept only 10 families at a time for truly personalized care. No extra charges for playtime, medications, or potty breaks, so your pet gets the attention they deserve. In St. Peter's and in Troy, or at youdapperdog.com. That's youdapperdog.com.
Mike Ferguson.
We the people.
Gabe Phifer.
It's not rocket science. Rocket science.
Get up! Get up! Can't you hear the alarm? Get up! Get up! Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Gene on Rumble just pointed out he's getting his tickets for the Steve Forbes event.
Nice.
Coming up here because we're partnering with Hammond Institute for Free Enterprise and Lindenwood University, bringing Steve Forbes to St. Louis. You can be there. It is free, but you got to have tickets.
Yes, I'm very excited for the event, but even if you're not interested in Steve Forbes, come meet Gene.
That's right. He's going to be there. NewsTalkSTL.com is where you're going to get more information about that event. I am really, really looking forward to that. All right, here's what's going on here. Spending cuts are happening. I mean, they're tiny. They're relatively tiny, but it's enough to upset Democrats in Congress. Trump administration feeling pressure over the Epstein case. Are they going to have to give in and release the files eventually? But in the meantime, and I want to flesh this out a little bit more at 8:35, guys, is that I'm concerned with what I'm seeing in a lot of the conservative media. Not all of it, but a lot of it. And I don't want us to get to the point where we say everything we hate about the left is what we're going to do, and it's okay because they do it. Yeah. So I've got some my take on it, and you tell me if I'm right or wrong. But we'll do that around 8:35. And the Cardinals back on the field tonight. 8:06 right now. Let's go ahead and dump some news on you.
The morning news dump brought to you by Common Sense Rentals.
Successful dump. Wake up, America. It all worked out.
They got all the news.
The morning news dump.
Okay, so $9 billion of spending is a lot compared to my budget. I mean, it's just a day in the life of Gabe. Yeah, but it's it's a lot for me. Yeah. So the White House is going to get the rescission package back. The House voted 216 to 213 to approve those spending cuts. House Speaker Mike Johnson obviously very happy to get this done.
This was directed to wasteful spending in the previous State Department. Of course, Corporation for Public Broadcasting and a couple of other areas. We looked at that. We thought it was a waste of taxpayer funds, and we're taking care of business.
Okay, and of course, Democrats not happy about a $9 billion spending cut amid how much of a deficit spending, not even just the whole budget. Right. How much is the deficit spending this year?
$1.8 trillion with a T. That's and trillion with a T.
The Democrats are complaining about $9 billion.
Right.
Yes. When 1 year's worth of deficit spending is over $1 trillion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's what Hakeem Jeffries had to say.
Republicans, Mr. Speaker, aren't interested in bipartisanship, aren't interested in common sense solutions to finding common ground anchored in Democrats and Republicans coming together.
Yeah. At what point has the Democratic Party in any sort of recent memory been interested in common ground?
No.
I mean, he's like, I can't believe that they've gone off like this. They've completely jumped off of the political reservation, and we used to work together so well up until a few minutes ago. We were all buddies. I mean, we were in the commune singing Kumbaya together.
Yes, definitely. Because the thing is,
we were swapping spouses at Coldplay concerts. I said that joke out loud. I said that joke out loud.
That actually came out of your mouth.
Sorry.
That was hilarious too. But seriously, I mean, first of all, the appeal towards the non-existent bipartisanship is silly. But then also the fact consider what level of bipartisanship you could get out of him if he's complaining about what amounts to a rounding error worth of cuts. That's what we're talking about. Look, if you rounded up to the nearest tenth of $1 trillion, right?
Oh.
It didn't change.
Yeah.
Look, if you round the current deficit or the current budget deficit, it's 1.8. If you round it again after the cuts, it's still 1.8.
And this is what they're complaining about.
That's what they're complaining about.
All right. Former Congressman William Clay Sr., Democrat, has died. He represented St. Louis in the U.S. House from 1969 through 2001. He was then succeeded by his son, William Lacey Clay. When William Clay Sr. retired, he was 94 years old. The White House does not support a special prosecutor being appointed in the Jeffrey Epstein case. Here's the story from Town Hall.
Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt was asked about the possible appointment of a special prosecutor for a full investigation into Epstein's federal sex trafficking case.
The president would not recommend a special prosecutor in the Epstein case. That's how he feels.
Some Republicans are calling for a special counsel, while loyal MAGA supporters who are unhappy with the Trump administration are demanding the release of more information. Greg Clugston, the White House.
Okay, and now we are hearing that there could be some of the grand jury indictment records released, but that has not happened yet. At 8:35, I want to go into more depth, not even just about the Epstein files and case itself, but about the administration really being pressured on this and the administration responding by essentially telling conservative media and conservative influencers, will you shut up already? I need you to run interference and focus on these other things, not this. and they're being fairly open about it.
Yeah, and there are avenues of conservative media that are saying, okay,
yeah, that's what I've got a problem with.
Yeah,
that's what I have an issue with. So 8:35. Let's talk about what you expect from us in conservative media. All right, the White House shared President Donald Trump's recent diagnosis of chronic venous insufficiency. This is apparently a very common and minor condition that is common among people of a certain age. A batch of medical tests were done because of swelling in the president's legs and apparently patterns of bruising on his hands. Former White House physician for President Trump, he's now actually a congressman out of Texas, Ronnie Jackson, was asked about this on Hannity last night on Fox, and he says the fact that they're putting out any sort of diagnosis shows that they're learning some lessons from the mistakes of the previous administration.
Their base wants this out, and Massey wants it out. The president's seeing now the writing on the wall. They're going to realize that these files have to be released.
Okay, I'm sorry. That was Ro Khanna on there, which I'll get to a little bit. Here's Congressman Jackson, the physician.
The White House Medical Unit and Dr. Sean Barbabella, who's his physician now, is trying their best to be as transparent and straightforward with the American people as they can possibly be when it comes to the president's health, and that's a direct result of what we saw in the last administration.
So basically what you have here is for a guy who's going on 80 years old, this is a very common thing.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody who says, oh yeah, he's 79 years old, he's in perfect health. No, he's not.
Not perfect.
I'm diagnosing you with being 79 years old. I mean, that's just what happens. But I do think it is a good thing if there's now a precedent being setting to say, hey, somebody who's 65, 70, 75, 79, 80, or whatever, you know what? We're human and stuff happens. And that goes some distance in reestablishing trust. It's like, okay, well, I don't need to know everything about your health and your innards, but people were questioning the swelling and the bruising and things. And it's basically not a big deal.
Yes,
it's really not. It's not affecting his ability to do the job.
Now, the bruising and swelling could have been related to something else. So I appreciate them saying that. No, actually, this is what it is, and it makes sense. It's kind of falls into the he's healthy for a whatever year old, which is fine. And I'm fine with that.
And they said the bruising, they're like, he shakes hundreds of hands every day.
Right.
He takes aspirin every day, which thins the blood. So that's actually a very plausible thing, and I don't even care. But I actually appreciate that they say, okay, the medical exam wasn't perfect. Here's what it is.
Yeah.
That's I actually appreciate that.
Given what they've hidden from us.
Yeah.
I appreciate this. Yeah. This is the type of transparency we were looking for.
Yeah.
I wish they would extend it to other areas.
All areas. Yeah. So 8:35. We'll get to that. All right. More marching in the street. Kind of. What appears to be a relatively small protest demonstrated against Orange Man Bad in downtown St. Louis on Thursday. It was part of the so-called Good Trouble protest around the country. It's the same organizers for the most part.
Oh, yeah.
They're trying to name each of these days a different thing. We've had No Kings and we've had Hands Off, and now it's Good Trouble. Hard to tell from the media coverage how many took part in the St. Louis soiree. Looks like it was in the dozens is what it looks like. Yeah. Maybe several dozen. And then Joe called a little bit ago, said there was one in South County on Lindbergh that he was guessing about 20 people or so. If there were other ones around the metro area, they were so small they didn't get noticed. And even that one downtown, I only saw 2 media outlets give it any coverage. And one of them, the entire story on it was probably about 80 words.
I mean, if it was the debut of your garage band, you'd be excited by the crowd. But other than that, no, you don't gotta go.
No.
It's actually too few people at your basketball game.
I think, I think that there will be something big that happens, and they'll draw another big protest at some point. But right now, I think even among those on the left, I think there's Orange Man Bad fatigue.
Yeah, they're a little tired of
going on.
Yeah. And I think our caller said that he couldn't tell what the signs were even trying to say. It was very generic.
They probably keep generic ones in their garage.
Yeah. See, this speaks to that entrepreneurial idea I had about the LED programmable sign. So you could just change it to you download it from the DNC and it says I'm protesting current thing.
But why do you hate the climate?
Oh, that's true. It would require power.
It would require power.
We would have to put little solar panels and a little spin. Actually, we could give them a beanie with a little spinny on the top.
I mean, they're wearing beanies anyway,
right? Exactly. So just put little spinny.
Maybe
on the top.
a solar powered keffiyeh. Yeah. All right. Cardinals start the post All-Star part of the season tonight. They are on the road playing the Diamondbacks in Arizona. That is an 8:40 first pitch, and this is one of those games that's going to be on over the air. Channel 4 is actually going to have tonight's Cardinals game. Pre-game is at about 8 o'clock, and then first pitch, like I said, right around 8:40.
And all at once depart, no destination, making cold my heart to fight your war. Stop it right now. I have had enough.
It's Friday.
Before you blow us all away. Get up, can't you hear the alarm?
Simply Health with Dr. Brian Deloney.
What if everything that you've been told about Alzheimer's isn't complete and you aren't destined to lose your memory and you may actually have control over avoiding this type of situation? I'm Dr. Brian Deloney, host of Simply Health, now available without a prescription. We're going to be talking about just that topic and teaching you exactly how you can prevent and even reverse this disease.
Simply Health, Saturdays at noon on News Talk STL. The Wall That Heals comes to St. Louis County July 24th through 27th at Jefferson Barracks Historic Site. This traveling replica of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial has brought healing to nearly 800 communities nationwide. Join us as the Vic Perselli Show broadcasts live from the Wall Thursday, July 24th from 9 till noon. Made possible by Best Buy Flooring, Patriot Heating and Cooling, and DG Firearms.
Hey, it's Vic Porcelli here with our great friend Chris Cooper from Serenity Wealth Management. Hi, Chris.
How are you, Vic?
I don't want to put anybody else down, but when you go up and visit you at Serenity Wealth, your place looks like home.
So a lot of financial advisory offices, they have, the big mahogany desk or the big marble entryways and things like that. The stock market channel on the TV when you walk in the door, right? That doesn't really drive a good conversation. Good financial guidance and advice starts with a good conversation. People are nervous. People are afraid to talk about finances, right? And so you can see a little standoffish. Well, my objective is to try to have a good casual conversation. By having those conversations about life, goals, objectives, it's what makes me understand what our financials are supposed to fund.
So if somebody does want to have a good conversation, how do they do that? How do they find you?
Our website is the best way to do that because you can get all the information you need, understand where we are, get a little bit more information, all that. SerenityWealthNow.com.
Reach out to Chris and Stacy today at SerenityWealthNow.com.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors, LLC.
I think we should be able to have a civil conversation.
The news and talk that matters to St. Louis.
This conversation has completely made me crazy.
This is complete insanity.
News Talk STL. The 80s.
Excellent.
Never been a decade like it. Never will be. It's Flashback Friday.
Hey, this is Todd Showalter. Join me for the Right Mind Show on Saturday at 5 as I try to put some fun back into this wacky radio station. And speaking of wacky, let's get back to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Song was huge.
It was massive. Material Girl.
Oh my gosh.
People also don't realize how massive Madonna was as a pop star.
Yeah, it really.
And Jerome, you're not going to believe this just based on what's out there right now. She actually used to be sort of pretty.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking at the album cover right now and I'm like, hubba hubba.
Yeah, well,
she was a cutie.
Yeah,
maybe it's something to put in our foods, but I'm telling you, people back in the 80s were just better looking.
Oh, that's true. That's so true.
It was the food.
That's right. All the preservatives.
All the preservatives.
It was all there.
That's first generation preservatives actually preserved us.
See, here's the thing: is like we in Gen X, children of the 80s, we can't help it if we're just hotter than everybody else.
Yeah, seriously.
Just saying.
The burden of being wonderful.
That's right. The burden of being wonderful.
Wait, how did somebody describe us with people in their 60s who look like they're in their 40s but act like they're 12?
Yeah,
or something like that. Something like that.
Too.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, essentially.
Accurate.
All right. Late night TV is just not gonna be the same. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it's not gonna be the same. There's a big change that's coming here, and I think that this has something to do with being tone deaf to the market.
Yes,
I really do.
Mhm.
It is 8:20 right now. By the way, sorry, Jerome, you're not going to be able to see the Steve Miller Band in concert this year.
You're ruining my summer, Mike.
I know. Okay, fess up.
Poor-
do you
poor
even
guy.
know who the Steve Miller Band is?
I know my neighbor's name was Steve.
Yeah, no.
Steve Martin?
No. The Steve Miller Band, big in the 70s, a little
Mhm.
bit into the 80s.
Little bit.
You know, they were they had some big hits back then. So get this, they've canceled their upcoming tour.
Okay.
Okay, well that happens.
Yeah, I mean, was it health concerns
Okay.
or anything like that?
Here's the post that they put.
Okay.
Dear Steve Miller Band fans, you make music with your instincts. You live your life by your instincts. Always trust your instincts. The Steve Miller Band has canceled all of our upcoming tour dates. The combination of extreme heat, unpredictable flooding, tornadoes, hurricanes, and massive forest fires make these risks for you, our audience, the band and crew, unacceptable. So you can blame it on the weather. The tour is canceled. Don't know where, don't know when. We hope to see you all again. Wishing you all peace, love, and happiness, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
The whole tour?
The whole tour for the next few months.
So they're anticipating a wildfire in a few months or something? Like, what are you talking about?
It was funny because Stel Ponticus actually sent me this link. He texted it to me. And we were joking about it. And, I pointed out, I mean, Steve Miller's probably got to be in his 70s by now,
Yeah.
I would think. And so
I was surprised he's still touring.
Yeah, some people didn't know he's still alive. But, when you get a little bit older, your joints tell you when the weather, I mean, and
That's true. That's true.
His knees and ankles may be saying, listen, it's going to rain in October.
That's a good point. The whole year is screwed, man.
I know.
Stay home.
I mean, so he didn't go
All
as
right.
far as to say climate change.
Yeah.
But it sounds to me like
By
this is-
implication, he's
now let
doing that.
me just guess what I think might actually be happening here.
Okay.
People aren't buying tickets.
Oh, ticket sales.
Yeah.
That,
And they're
that little
not
pesky
doing they're
thing.
not doing major things. Like one of the events that was canceled is like at the Ozarks Amphitheater.
Oh, okay.
So they're not playing Busch Stadium like Def Leppard.
Would that even cover the price of moving all of those people to the Ozarks
Right.
to set it up?
No.
Yeah, probably not. I think the economics of it was what really drove.
Canceling a multi-month tour because we've had bad weather.
And we want to protect you.
Yeah.
We want to protect you.
Oh, good God. Okay. So this happened. Here's an announcement. Late night TV, not just because of my schedule, but I haven't really watched much of late night TV at all. Stephen Colbert goes on his show, and this aired last night. Here's what he had to say.
Before we start the show, I want to let you know something that I found out just last night. Next year will be our last season. The network will be ending The Late Show in May. And yeah, I share your feelings.
Okay,
No
so
kidding.
here's the funny part of all of this. Now, first of all, Stephen Colbert, as much as of a left-wing dingbat that he is, he's had a pretty successful run.
Oh yeah,
with that Late Show, and then before that, he was on Comedy Central when he spun off of what's his face's show, Jon Stewart's show.
Yeah,
as well.
Late. Wait,
well,
what
it
what
was
the heck
okay.
was it called? I can't remember.
Yeah, he did the pseudo. He was
trying to be Bill O'Reilly.
He was the offensive Bill O'Reilly.
Right.
Is what happened.
A caricature of Bill
right.
O'Reilly.
And so that was his whole shtick. And the whole thing was to make fun of conservatives, but there were times he was pretty funny.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I thought,
like legit funny.
Yeah. Even though he's making fun of our side, he was funny at times. If you cannot laugh at yourself,
Yeah, you got problems.
well, laugh at other people, but you should be able to laugh at yourself. But here's the thing is I used to scour the late night jokes and then I would, put them in like the liners and the stingers that we do in and out.
Because they were
They
fun.
were funny.
Mhm.
I mean, even if they poke fun at our side, but they were funny.
Mhm.
The reality is that the late night TV marketplace does not have the audience that they used to have. And what they do have is now spread across more competition, including Gutfeld, who's taken their lunch.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the thing is, the difference has been the laugh versus clap phenomenon in comedy.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, the goal was to make sure that your audience laughed, that they had a spontaneous comedic reaction to whatever the heck you were doing.
Yeah.
And it just kind of, it comes from your gut. Your brain says that's funny, your mouth opens, ha ha ha, it comes right out.
Right.
Now these days, what they're going for is they're going for some sort of public acclamation to or admission to whatever you're saying.
Right.
So it's like, man, that Trump, he's being all mean to the immigrants, and then the audience is supposed to like, huh,
Yeah,
huh,
that's right,
that's right, yeah,
Orange Man bad.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and it's the uncomfortable laughter that comes along with trying to, it's like, okay, I'm going to virtue signal with my hands to agree with whatever political sentiment you're making. That's not comedy.
And imagine this. The audience that was tuning in for comedy stopped tuning in, and the numbers that they because I'm sure, listen, I've not seen Stephen Colbert's show in years. I am sure there were funny moments there.
There had to be like a
I'm
few.
sure that there were. Jimmy Fallon, I think, still doing the Tonight Show. I'm sure there are funny moments there. He's a little more of just kind of a goofball with his skits and songs.
Yeah, Fallon, I think, tries to be, I think, as politically agnostic as you can be in today's age.
And then who's the other one? There's whoever it is, whoever doing the late show.
The guy who used to do the Man Show. I can't remember his name.
Oh, Jimmy something.
Yeah, the other Jimmy.
Not Fallon, Kimmel, right?
Kimmel.
That's it. He's an idiot.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But that's the thing, is that
big crybaby dummy.
We're tired. I mean, the market, even what we're seeing is that even major media cannot outrun the market. And I'm going to flip this on conservatives at 8:35 here as well in some news coverage. But what we're seeing here is all these leftists just kind of assumed this is the late show. This is the late show. This is the Tonight Show. We're going to set the tone and tell people what's cool.
Right.
And what's funny and what you want.
We have a platform. We have a responsibility.
Right. And so they ignored that, or they were condescending to it for long enough. The audience left. And so Colbert went on to say that they're not replacing the late show. They are eliminating it.
It's like the whole format, the whole concept of it is going away.
I don't know what they're going to replace
it with. Which is wild.
Yeah. So it's not going to go local, at that time of night, but they'll have something else.
Honestly, they could replace it with reruns of MASH and they'll do just fine.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing, is if you look at one of those like retro rerun TV channels, and I know there's a couple of them here on the air in St. Louis, every once in a while, you'll see like an old Johnny Carson from the mid 70s or early 80s.
Oh my gosh.
And they're still funny.
Hilarious.
They are still funny. And everybody on that screen is dead. And that's how long ago these shows were made. And they're still funny to this day. If you've never seen it before, Jerome, these things were made long before you were born. It's still funny.
It's still funny.
You see Johnny Carson interviewing Rodney Dangerfield. You are going to laugh your butt off.
Absolutely.
And then, of course, Colbert complained about the fact that CBS just paid out a settlement, with Trump for some of the coverage. And, he at one point, he thanked the network and everybody. But then he also said, I don't know if I'll ever trust him again. Colbert's going to land somewhere.
Oh, of course he is. He's going to have a podcast.
He's going to have something.
Get a Substack going.
If he's been smart with his money and saved his pennies, I'm sure he doesn't have to worry about paying his mortgage.
Right.
But this, I think, is also just showing that even the left-wing mainstream media cannot outrun the market. The market eventually will correct things. And this is just a matter of, they're saying it's a financial decision. It's just too much money to keep spending for what we're bringing in, which is why I've got to think that the days of The View
they're absolutely numbered.
Are probably numbered, which I honestly kind of hate, because they provide us with so much material.
Well, I think they're getting the entirety of their ratings at this point from right-wing producers who are saying, like, oh yeah, that'll make us a good sound clip for this next segment here.
A little bit of conversations going on here. 101, the working class seems to have left the late night shows. Vindictiveness and hate for your audience has consequences.
Oh yeah,
that's a good way.
That's it. That's
absolutely.
It. But well, you know what? The market is also telling us that our podcasts are very, very popular. So be sure to go to NewsTalkSTL.com. You can sign up for podcasts. You can actually sign up so that through the app, So you get our podcast, you get the live shows, and you can go back and look at any sort of segments, interviews that you want to in the past. So
yep,
be sure to sign up there.
101 also says, guys, YouTube Johnny Carson's interview with Ann Margaret. I know what he's talking about.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that was good stuff.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
It's a relatively quiet morning with some clouds and early fog, but once again this afternoon, scattered rain and thunderstorms in the forecast, a muggy high of 87. Some are going to miss the rain altogether, but others will deal with some downpours and some gusty winds. Spotty rain and storms overnight, too, down to 75. Heat really builds this weekend. 92 Saturday, 95 Sunday. The heat index between 100 and 105, and still some spotty rain and storms around. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Shane.
Fox News commentary.
We no longer have to take our shoes off to go through airport security. I'm Tommy Lahren. More next.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/policy. That's ethos.com/policy.
A few bipartisan issues left in today's political landscape, but I'm hoping this next one will be a rare exception. DHS Secretary Noem announced passengers will no longer have to take our shoes off while going through TSA airport security. The inconvenience of removing our shoes is likely the primary reason many of us got TSA pre-check, but I'm glad this will now apply to the masses. I'd note I'm happy to remove my shoes for the sake of national security. However, with the advancements in security technology, the shoes off rule seems antiquated, and Secretary Noem agrees. Hopefully this will help security go smoother and faster because Lord knows we could use that. Now that we don't have to strip our shoes off for airport security, please, my fellow passengers, follow that through and do not take your shoes off while on the plane either. We don't need to smell your feet. I'm Tommy Lahren, and you can watch my show, Tommy Lahren is Fearless, at Outkick.com.
Looking for an underwater adventure or a scaly new friend? Dive into Tropical World Pets on Watson Road. For 32 years, this family-owned wonderland has been St. Louis's go-to destination for all things aquatic and reptilian. With over 7,000 square feet of aquariums, we're home to the area's largest selection of freshwater fish, including rare cichlids you won't find anywhere else. But that's not all. We've got tarantulas, snakes, and lizards galore. Tropical World Pets, 314-849-4020, or visit twpstl.com.
Planning your next adventure? Head to Landell EE Clothing Store in Wentzville and gear up for less. Whether you're hitting the beach or the slopes, we've got you covered at prices that won't break the bank. Find us at 12680 Veterans Memorial Parkway, just west of Highway A off I-70. We're open Tuesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Landell EE, where adventure meets affordability. Stop by today and discover the bargains waiting for you.
SR1 Sundays.
Hi, this is Elizabeth Kaiser. Be sure and check out my show, Straight Lines, this and every Sunday at 8 p.m., right after Stand and Fight, part of SR1 Sundays. Let's meet right here and let's peel back some layers of this crazy world, and you might be surprised at what we find. Straight Lines with Elizabeth Kaiser on SR1 Sundays at 8 p.m., right here on 101.9, 94.1 News Talk STL.
Straight Lines with Elizabeth Kaiser on News Talk STL.
The news and talk
The Supreme Court must put an end to this.
that matters to St. Louis.
Senior Advisor Stephen Miller called the tariff strike down a judicial coup.
Certainly the president is acting within his authority.
This is 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. The 80s.
Bueller.
The 80s.
Let's go while we're young.
Never been a decade like it.
Shall we play a game?
Never will be.
Where are the beat?
It's Flashback Friday.
Hey, this is Larry Connors. Make sure you're listening later today at 6 o'clock on News Talk STL for my show, Larry Connors USA. Now, back to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
A little funny aside about this song. My little sister and I, when we would protest something that was going on at my house, we would sing this song.
Have you ever heard the Dave Chappelle skit about driving around with his white friends?
Oh, no, no.
He's like, it's different getting pulled over with a white friend than your black friends, because the white friends will be sitting there, the cops will be like, oh, we're not going to do, they'll be blasting this song with the cops rolling up on them. Like, what do you want, officer?
Now, Jerome and I are going to see Dee Snider perform this live.
Oh, yeah, that's
in
right.
Charles.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Gabe's not coming with us.
No, I'm sorry, guys.
Gabe.
Yeah.
He was invited.
Gabe.
So,
I'm
by the
sorry.
way, if you go to, because it's Dee Snider and Lita Ford and Firehouse, so an 80s extravaganza of 80s rock and metal.
That'll be awesome.
Going to be at the, I want to say October 3rd, I think it is, which is a Friday. It's going to be at the Family Arena in St. Charles. So you can go just look up the Family Arena's website and you can get tickets there. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to be there. Jerome's going to be there. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, 8:36 right now. All right, let me revisit and listen. We've talked a lot about the Epstein stuff, and right now it's not even really about the Epstein files themselves.
No.
Okay,
the story's kind of bigger now.
This is a little bit of a family discussion here among those of us who are on the conservative side of things, whether you are center right or whether you are, much farther to the right, whatever your part of the right is, this is a little bit of a family discussion here. So for those of you who are on the left and listening, take interest in it. I'm interested in your thoughts too, but really I'm talking to all of us on the right.
Call in a family meeting, come sit at the kitchen table.
Okay.
We got things to discuss.
So I asked this about an hour ago. And that is, why do we loathe the mainstream media so much? And obviously you look at the way they covered up for Biden and look at the way that they spin on the issues, why do we get so mad? Is it because we disagree with them on the issues? I don't really think it is.
Not entirely.
No, we think they're wrong and we don't like what they're pushing and all that kind of stuff. But we get mad and we fight back because they aren't telling the truth.
That's it.
Yeah. And to your point real quick. So for example, left-leaning media, as long as you get the facts correct, and then you say, as somebody that is on the left, this is my interpretation, my view of it, I'm totally willing to sit through, even if it's crazy and dumb.
Absolutely.
But when it is a twisting of the facts, when it is you're only reporting something as a smear or to say, I told you so, that is where it's like, that's not journalism. That's like gossip almost.
Or not reporting what we need to know.
Yes.
Let's talk about the Biden. The Biden cover up.
Oh yeah,
cover ups.
Yeah. Why are we mad at them for in regards to that particular thing?
Because people get mad that the Biden administration was allowing what was happening to happen. But what really makes us mad is that people there knew about it and media knew. Jake Tapper tried to publish a book being indignant about it, and it turns out he was aware of it. Didn't do anything when he was reporting at the time. That's one of the biggest things that we have no respect for the left media for, is because they're dishonest. Yes, we don't agree or don't respect their takes and opinions on things, but it's because they don't tell the truth.
That's right.
On this. So that brings us to the Epstein situation here. So a poll came out, and to be fair, Newsmax is still covering this.
Yes. Are they the only ones at this point?
They're not the only ones.
OAN might be on it too.
I don't know. I haven't watched them in a while, but but they're the ones, they've just consistently been doing about the same coverage. And so they wrote an article, or they published an article yesterday on a new poll that came out from Reuters and Ipsos. And yes, polling is,
we understand polling,
questionable to start with. But these numbers are pretty overwhelming. So even if they're not right, even if they're just in the zip code, it still tells us something. A 2-day poll that was done this week shows that 69% of respondents think the federal government is hiding details about Epstein's clients and business.
Right.
The percentage of those who say, no, we're being told the truth, we know what's going on, 6.
Right.
6%. And then about 1/4 are somewhere in the I don't know area. Almost 7 out of 10 Americans, 2/3 of Republicans,
right,
say we're not being told the truth. I don't believe we're being told the truth.
And just based on my impressions of people's reactions, just in general, what I'm seeing on social media, what I'm hearing from, even our listeners, that tracks. That sounds about right.
Yeah. So here's the thing. And I'm looking at this Newsmax article, and let me just read. It is the 3rd from the bottom paragraph here. Behind the scenes, Trump and senior aides have also reached out to key MAGA-aligned influencers, urging them to dial down their criticism of the administration's handling of the Epstein investigation and shift focus to broader priorities in the America First movement. Now, we know this is happening. What we have had social media influencers and some hosts say, yeah, I got a call. I'm also seeing a pattern with some of the biggest conservative media that either they got the call or they got taken to the woodshed or they had their access threatened or something, because all of a sudden they've really shut down their coverage of anything Epstein related.
Yeah, the Ben Shapiro's, the Charlie Kirks of the world. We're starting to see this back. I won't call it a backlash, but this response of, well, you know what? Why don't we wait and see? Here are the things we know, and we don't know this, so we can't say this. So now we're just going to move on.
I was scouring some of the big conservative sites. They're news, but they're opinion sites.
Yeah.
And they, there was maybe on one of them I couldn't even find anything on Epstein at all. We're talking major conservative, millions of clicks kind of thing. And so they're responding to the president and his administration saying, knock it off. This is a problem for us. We need you to redirect people's attention. Well, this is what the left always does. Okay. So Eric Burleson was asked about this on News Nation, because he's one of those who's joining with Thomas Massey to say we need absolutely to get that information out to the public. Here's what he had to say. And I think that his take on this reflects the way a lot of people see it.
Yeah, I love President Trump. I think he's done an amazing job. Honestly, with all the wins that we've achieved over these last few months, I think they're unprecedented and historic. I think that he's on pace to being on Mount Rushmore. This is not a good moment. And I think that, so I'm open. If the president has information that we do not have, I want to hear it. But I think that the American people right now, they expected these files to be released. And I think, look, we've got how many victims, right? Hundreds of young girls were victimized. And I think the American people and these victims deserve to have some kind of clarity.
Okay, so we're looking at, I'm going to pick up the conversation. I'm not going to rehash, obviously, Donald Trump lashing out at his own base by saying stupid Republicans and foolish Republicans are okay, it's where we go from here on this. If the mainstream media is bad for basically being the PR wing of the left and being a lackey for a Biden or an Obama or a Democratic whatever, should we expect the conservative media not do the exact same thing for Republicans?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the question I'm putting out there. So here's the thing. Is it the conservative media's job to say, okay, this is our guy, this is who's elected, this is the part, we've got to protect him at all costs, let's run their PR offensive? Well, that's exactly why we don't take the leftist media seriously, why they are not credible.
So I think that mentality is what has actually led to a lot of the rise of influencers, is that because a lot of people just sort of expect that even if it's a source that we generally like, if it's on the TV and it's got corporate sponsors, probably not going to be accurate. Whereas here's a guy, gets some facts right, regurgitates an opinion that we all agree with or a view that we like, gives us new ways of thinking about things. We can trust this more than a corporately sponsored person. And I think that the fact that now some of them are being, for lack of a better word, exposed as being complicit,
complete grifters, and they've got their own sponsorship,
exactly,
including Russia.
Yeah, as complicit as the mainstream news sources, it becomes a thing of like, well, I was just trusting you. I thought you were supposed to be different. You were in bed with them. I think that, I mean, all we could really do is just keep doing what we do.
Yeah. So here's what we got, and Gabe, this is what could get me in trouble here. Okay, so it's not conservative media's job to run interference for any politician, okay?
Correct.
For any political party, for any political movement. Now, the politicians and the parties, I think, can earn the support and the favorable coverage by doing the right thing and by serving the people right and sticking to conservative and free market principles, but not the other way around. So here's what bugs me, and I know we just got a couple minutes left here. Here's what bugs me so much is you've got a bunch of outlets who were all over the Epstein thing, sometimes for years.
Yes.
We got to get to the truth. Expose, we know there's something there. Suddenly, when the Trump administration says, knock it off, I need you to focus on this other stuff. And they go, okay. And then suddenly they're saying, stuff like, well, it's a distraction. Let's look at the bigger picture. Okay. Now I'm not targeting any one particular outlet or anything like that, but now I've seen a pattern of conservative media falling into line because they're told to. We're supposed to be, to some degree, watchdogs of our own party. We're the ones who can influence, and I say we, I mean the conservative movement, not media necessarily. But for instance, there are things that Governor Keogh has been really good on.
Yeah, absolutely.
There are things I really disagree with him on.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact of the matter is that we need to be in a position to where conservative media, people understand, you're not telling us what to think.
Right.
We're not taking marching orders from any politician. We will respond and support when they do something well. But if all of a sudden an outlet who has been all over this suddenly says, okay, more important things, let's move on because they were told to by the president, do you still take them seriously? Are they still credible?
It's hard. It's
what
hard
kind
to
of
take
character and integrity do they still have?
It's hard to take them seriously,
Yeah.
honestly. If you make a really, really sharp turn like that,
Yeah.
I mean, look, I understand the idea of guarding your access, and we have these discussions all the time. It's like, okay, sometimes you push back, sometimes you make sure you're not pushing back
And the
too
way
hard.
you do it
the
matters.
way you do it matters,
Right.
Because if you don't have access, you don't get the story to begin with,
Right.
and there's a certain level of ball that you got to play on that regard. This is something different. This isn't. Okay, guys, when we talk about this story, let's not be sure not to villainize X, Y, and Z. That's fine. That's fine if you're protecting your access. But they're saying, okay, we're just going to stop talking about it.
Right.
We're just going to regurgitate the official line coming out of the White House on this. That's a bridge too far.
And that comes from a mindset that says we work for them. We're now their PR arm.
Yeah.
No, we're supposed to be the critical thinkers.
That's it.
We're supposed to be the side that thinks for ourselves. We're supposed to be the side that holds people accountable. So I want our conservatives, I want, frankly, the Republicans to earn the full-throated support and defense from conservative media, but you got to earn it. You don't demand it. And then we kneel down and say, okay, whatever you say, just don't cut me off. That's not something that I think anybody should want, regardless of what side it's on. So what do you want from conservative media? Because that pattern that I've seen in the last 2.5 days bothers me a lot.
Yeah.
And it doesn't speak that well. So pick and choose your conservative media carefully, in addition to your overall mainstream media carefully. Last minute thoughts on that?
I would just want independent media to actually be independent.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Jamie Allman here with my common sense brother, Rob Very, owner of STL Bath and Renovation. And let me tell you something, your home is your castle, but so is your bathroom. Rob, how can you make it beautiful?
Jamie, if you're tired of cleaning, you love the tile, but you hate the grout, we can give you man-made or natural stone in your bathroom for your floors and walls, but no grout. Easy to maintain.
And beautiful. All kinds of selections as well.
More than you can count.
STLBR.com, St. Louis Bath and Renovation, STLBR.com. Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, Jamie.
Hi, I'm Rodney Wallner.
And I'm Jen Wallner with the Wallner Home Selling Team at Berkshire Hathaway.
Hey, Jen, how do you sell your home for top dollar?
That's easy. Call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
What if I want a flexible commission plan?
Call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
What's the best time to sell your home?
Right now, call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
For all your real estate needs, call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
That's 314-810-SOLD.
Hungry for the best steak you'll ever have? Head to the heart of Moscow Mills and discover Harry J's, a local landmark and family-owned steakhouse, serving up excellence since '98. From mouth-watering appetizers to decadent desserts, Harry J's has something for everyone. Enjoy our extensive bar selection while soaking in our friendly family atmosphere. Whether dine in or carry out, your meal is prepared to perfection. Make the drive to 300 Main Street and treat yourself to a taste of Moscow Mill's finest. Harry J's, more than a steakhouse. We're a tradition.
Vic for Vets Honoree of the Day.
Corporal Michael Lee Scarlett, a.k.a. Twiggy, served with honor in the U.S. Marine Corps during the Vietnam War. He was promoted to the rank of Corporal, 3rd Battalion, 1st Marine Division.
The Vic Porcelli Show, weekdays 9 to noon on News Talk STL.
Hi, it's Randy Tobler here. Pour a big cup of coffee and catch my show every Saturday morning from 6 to 9. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson in the morning here on News Talk STL.
I got to mention this, guys. You've probably seen this on social media.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my goodness.
The video is amazing.
It is hysterical. And I know that, I say that and we're laughing. It's like somebody's lives are like really messed up right now, but it's their own fault. And it's just like an instant justice thing. Okay. If you've been on social media the last, 24 hours, if that, the good news is that this couple was apparently having a great time at a concert. Even though it was Coldplay. For whatever reason, they seem to be having a good time.
Well, they were really cozy.
Yeah, they were very cozy. The bad news is that their spouses, along with the rest of the world, found out.
Oh,
this is crazy.
It's an amazing.
Okay, so if you haven't seen the video, here's what happened. The Coldplay concert did the thing where they've got the big jumbotron.
Yeah.
What was the last concert you went to? Who'd you see?
Oh my gosh.
You're not as much of a concert goer as I am.
You're asking the wrong guy.
The last concert I went to was Alice Cooper and Rob Zombie.
It might have been Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
There you go. Okay. Did they have the big screens?
I think they had a jumbotron.
They had the jumbotron.
Couple spots,
yeah, you go out to well, I'm just going to call it Riverport. You go out there and you got the big screen so that you can see the singer up close if you're way in the back, and they do that. And then they'll do cutaway shots to the audience. They were playing whatever Coldplay song was happening, and they cut to this couple, and he's standing behind her and he's got his arms wrapped around her.
They're both looking
they're
up
swaying
at whatever, I guess. Maybe
she's got her head leaning back on his shoulder. It's a little special moment.
It's cozy. It's cute.
Then they look at the jumbotron and see that they're on camera.
Yeah.
She covers her face and turns away, and he literally dives down out of camera shot.
He ducks down. Yes, absolutely.
So the singer actually notices, and he actually says this on the stage.
Oh, look at these two. All right, come on. You're okay? Oh, what? Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy.
It turns out they're having an affair.
And to make matters worse, his response that he issued.
Yes.
He pulled a Trump when he should have pulled a Clinton. He should have said, I hugged her, but I did not embrace her. There's nothing nefarious. And instead he said, how dare you, Coldplay?
Yes. Okay. So here's actually what the guy who turns out is the CEO of a company called Frmr.
Right. Which is why he had to issue a basically a press release, because he's a big wig. Yeah. Right. If he just, if he's a pipe fitter, he's not issuing a press release.
No.
But this guy apparently needed to.
His name is Andy Byron. And he was the CEO of this company. And by the way, the woman was identified as like their head of HR. And they're both married to other people for the moment.
Yeah. So his direct report.
Yeah.
She is his direct report.
Both of them executives here. So he puts out a statement, basically, I want to acknowledge the moment that's been circulating online and the disappointment it's caused. What was supposed to be a night of music and joy turned into a deeply personal mistake playing out on a very public stage. I want to apologize to my wife, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This is not who I am. I need to take time off, reflect, et cetera, et cetera. But then he says this: I also want to express how troubling it is that what should have been a private moment became public without my consent. I respect artists and entertainers, but I hope we can all think more deeply about the impact of turning someone else's life into a spectacle. In other words, darn it, I got caught with my side piece.
Why did you catch me?
Yes, how dare you catch
How dare
me?
you?
And apparently some people were looking at like the LinkedIn's of everybody.
Yeah.
And this guy's, the CEO's wife, changed her LinkedIn because she had a hyphenated name and she deleted his name off the LinkedIn.
Yep. That says something. They're a software development company, apparently.
Okay.
Well, and apparently a relationship development company. as
Yeah,
well.
really.
I mean, he should have said, we treat our employees like family here.
Yeah,
What
that's
did you think
right.
I meant, baby? I mean, come on.
Oh, jeez.
Stell just sent me sent us an image of the New York Post front page.
Uh-oh.
And the headline reads Dumbotron.
Oh, man.
with three sequential images of the couple. First in the full embrace, then the realization face, and then ducking for cover.
And the thing is that if they hadn't reacted, somebody might have figured out.
Maybe.
But the reality is that probably almost nobody would have thought twice because they would have cut the camera to another couple.
Yeah. That's how those things work.
Maybe there was somebody else from the company there who would go, wait a minute.
I mean, if there was somebody at the concert, if somebody might have seen the cell phone video of because this is I'm pretty sure this is a cell phone video from somebody in the crowd who kind of caught the moment,
right?
Or
they had the cell phone of the Jumbotron.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The cell phone of the Jumbotron.
Yeah.
And all that stuff that maybe those things show up on the concert page or something like that. Is your wife actually going to come across this picture?
Probably not.
Probably not. But the minute the guy on stage calls it out and people are like, oh boy, and somebody posts it because that's hilarious.
Because that was so funny.
It's a hilarious moment. Now you made your own viral moment.
Yes.
You called yourself out. It's kind of hilarious.
Yeah, because the guilt was right there. It was, oh crap, we're caught.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And now both of these executives have spouses who have been humiliated and are being humiliated.
Yeah, you don't come back for this.
I don't know how you come back.
Not with
because
me.
if somebody goes, well, maybe that was just like the arrangement, not the way they dove from it.
No, there's no way. There's no way.
The spouses did not know what was going on, but they sure do now. So don't do that, everybody.
Yeah,
don't do that.
Please stop.
Hi, it's Ken Williams, and my favorite Capriati sandwich is the Capistrami. You've got hot pastrami, melty Swiss cheese, crunchy coleslaw, and zesty Russian dressing. What else do you need? I love Capriati's, and you will too.
On Manchester at McKnight in Rock Hill.